All right, we are back. It is Game OK podcast. This is E3 2018 Part 2. Last time I was with Dan. He joins me once again.
Hello.
And he just woke up, so he might be a bit grumpy.
You're not grumpy, just voice might be a little...
Yeah, well... but we're also joined by Mike, who was with us last time on our Direct podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about E3 because, well, that's what we did last time. There's always too much stuff. If we really wanted to, we could probably really stretch E3 out. Like if I did a third episode, it's not going to happen. But this is all just Nintendo because Nintendo takes... Well, I guess the logic going into this was that Nintendo would trickle things out throughout the 3 days. That didn't exactly happen, but we did get something that, well, Dan and I discussed during the Sony event. We did get some good deep dives, I felt, as far as watching the Direct or more specifically watching the Treehouse streams. Got some good slices of the upcoming games, but I guess I'll just start by asking you guys, what was your overall impression of the Direct itself?
I guess my overall impression would be, if we're just talking the directs, not enough.
No?
Like while the sizzle reel was nice, I would have liked, I guess, a bit more. Cause once it hit Smash, the direct is done being about other games, and Smash just takes over for like 20 minutes, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's if you're somebody who doesn't like Smash or in for other certain games that weren't there, then you'd definitely be disappointed.
Well, what did you think, Mike?
So I was satisfied, but without a doubt, Smash carried the entire Direct. Like Dan said, without Smash, this Direct would have been very disappointing overall. But even with Smash, I think it's still a little disappointing in some areas, but Smash was just so good that it kind of made me forget about a lot of the other stuff. But I do still wish there was a little bit more. But I do think it was overall still pretty good.
Okay. I mean, I thought that it was... that's kind of what we said last time. Last episode, we would watch a lot of these, and then we would leave them feeling like that we didn't get quite enough. And Nintendo kept to that theme of, that's it? Don't we need a little more? So it was not a bad one. I enjoyed watching it, and especially after watching some more of the footage of these games on the streams, I definitely. I walk away from it being like, okay, well, there's a couple games I'm probably going to buy. But yeah, I definitely agree that it was missing things, and whether that's things that haven't been announced that we maybe hoped were announced, or things that have been announced and we kind of expected to see or get more information on, there's definitely a feeling like it was absent. Something was absent from this. Because Smash is nice, but, the elephant in the room regarding Smash is that, well, we kind of just had a Smash game. So even though it's nice to see that for an extended period of time, to know that it's on the way, and hopefully on the way soon, it can't be the thing that carries the show because it's still fresh in people's minds. Smash never really went away. So, that's kind of the issue, I would say.
Because from Brawl to 4, it was a big jump, really.
And Smash 4,
this is just kind of going.
Smash 4 has legs, It's they were doing DLC for almost 2 years, a little over a year, and then so that game, we'll obviously talk more about Smash. We're gonna save that for the end, but. Obviously. I'm just talking about its role as the centerpiece of this conference. I kind of hoped that there was something else that they could have given us. I mean, we actually have a list here of games or things that weren't there that we thought might be here, and we might as well talk about these real quick. the first that we have, obviously, is Metroid, because Metroid Prime 4 was announced last year with a number. It was like the Elder Scrolls teaser, where it was just a number.
Yeah, it was, and this was another thing, because I know you guys are big Metroid fans, but me myself, I've never really gone through most of the Metroids.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about Rocco.
It's just me. Yeah, I don't think.
Oh,
Mike,
it's just Rocco.
I don't think Mike plays Metroid.
But I do. To be fair, I do like all the Prime games, so I was excited for this one.
Yeah, but it was such like an odd thing with seeing everyone freak out over what's essentially a logo and just like a JPEG of space.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that it's coming back because it has been a very long time since we got something, but I want to stress that last year, I know we just got the number 4, and it was pretty crazy, or at least, for some people it was, but last year, to me, it wasn't just that Metroid Prime 4 was announced, it was that a 2D game was announced too, and that game came out.
Yeah.
So, there was a double whammy of, like, Metroid's back. And, if you're going to do the very vague, simple announcement, I enjoy when it's followed up relatively quickly, which, it's been a year, so I wouldn't call this, we still don't even know who's making this game. We have rumors of specific, like, regional studios that are involved in some capacity, but that's not good enough. I would have loved elaborations, and we haven't got those.
Even, like, concept art would be nice at this point.
Like, yeah, just a picture. Well, not just a picture. I mean, even if it was just another trailer that didn't show us much, but showed us what Samus is going to look like, I think that would have been okay.
That's exactly actually what I think they should have done. I don't think anyone was really expecting this game to come out this year, obviously. It's probably going to be a 2019 game, if not later. And I wasn't expecting to see gameplay even, because I figure when they announced that game last year at E3, they probably basically just started it. So all they really needed to do, in my opinion, was just, a quick 30-second trailer of Samus walking, maybe, to Ridley, I don't know. Like, anything. Literally just anything, and then just say coming soon.
It's still vague. It doesn't give us that much, but it's better than nothing. As the old saying goes. So
it wouldn't have changed too much for the Direct because again, that would have been so vague. But that's just such an easy thing I think they could have done. Even if it, they end up changing it in the future, like just remind us. Oh yeah, hey, we still are working on this.
Well, let's shift focus to a game that we have seen and we know is in development, and we don't know why it's not out yet. Let's talk about Yoshi title pending, or whatever it's called.
It is just called Yoshi as of right now.
Yoshi 2018, I guess.
Sure. This
Yoshi
is one of those
2019.
This is one of those games that I feel people kind of like. The reaction to it definitely changed what they were gonna do with it, because once people saw this kind of Yoshi, it's like, oh, it's Yoshi's Woolly World but 2, and a lot of people were like, well, they were really uninterested. I think Nintendo kind of realized, oh, well, maybe this isn't what we should be doing again. Maybe people aren't really into this, and it seems like it's gone through some sort of either development hell or some kind of change or something, but obviously it's caused it to not be at this E3 because of some sort of issue.
Yeah, you'd think that it's playable. Hasn't it been playable at other events?
It was playable at E3 last year when it was announced.
Oh, and I haven't seen or heard about it.
Gone.
Yeah.
They probably don't even. I don't think they brought a demo of it, even if it was last year's build, because Cuphead for a while just had the same build for the few years it was still at E3.
I'm not sure what's up with Yoshi. I mean, that's the thing. I have to assume that they wanted to basically do like a Woolly World sequel because
that was the only good Yoshi came in to go 20 years, maybe? I don't know.
It did what? Maybe it did okay.
I love Woolly World. I was actually excited for this one because I love Woolly World. Like, Yoshi games have been not the best since the original Yoshi's Island, but Woolly World absolutely was.
Yeah.
So when I heard they were doing a Woolly World sequel, not like another one of the DS games or whatever, I was excited. But Woolly World had this same issue too, which is weird, where it got announced and then it just disappeared. and then it finally came back and it was released. But I don't think Woolly World was playable when it was announced, unlike this one. So it's more strange now, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it could have something to do with the developer Goodfeel, because I'm not really sure that outside of these Yoshi games, that Goodfeel has really done a lot of work with like home console games, because they've mostly just done like they did like Street Pass.
Yarn also.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. They did. Of course, they did.
Yeah.
But even then, that's like mostly a 2D game, right?
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if like this it's tough for them to make a game like this. I don't know. I mean, I think there could be more going on, but I'm just kind of, throwing ideas out.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in a spot.
Polish it.
I mean, that Kirby game like got announced and came out, and like Yoshi.
That wasn't even playable at E3.
Yeah, and Yoshi is like
Yes, it was
missing.
Did you see the eShop? How the listing now says coming 2019? Did you notice that?
Delayed.
No?
Oh no, I didn't know that. Wow.
Okay, yeah. So it's
what happened?
Next year. Fire Emblem's not the only delay.
Well,
Fire Emblem I can get.
Well, we'll talk more about Fire Emblem when we get to it. But
yeah,
we've got okay. So I think there's two things, maybe three things that maybe we should have had in this direct that we didn't. And the first one, I don't, I kind of get into arguments with people about this, but every year E3 comes and Animal Crossing is not announced. Some people get really mad, and I concur. It's been a long time since New Leaf, but at the same time, people still don't seem to realize that the guys who used to do Animal Crossing they're all doing Splatoon now. So that's your explanation, and maybe they don't like it, but that's what's happening.
Well, remember we did just get a new Animal Crossing game on everyone's favorite platform, mobile. Animal Crossing.
Yes. I don't.
It's the same, right?
No, and I don't think that argument obviously holds weight. It's not the same,
Yeah.
but I also don't think that anyone is meant to act like this is going to hold you over. This is the next thing. They've been experimenting. When you look at this, the interior decorating game, and you look at Amiibo Festival, one of the greatest games of all time. We have a clear example of them just kind of they're seeing what they can do with this, and I don't really know why they're doing this, but it's just something they're doing to experiment with Animal Crossing.
Well, it seems like they definitely during the Wii U era, they really went in on Animal Crossing because they knew it was popular for a while. Yeah. But I think that the failures of both Amiibo Festival, Happy Home Designer, and then...
I don't know if that one failed. It was on the 3DS, so it probably sold okay.
I think Happy Home Designer did okay.
Yeah, but it obviously didn't go as high as a normal Animal Crossing game.
Well, that's... to be fair, they also patched Animal Crossing to add a bunch of stuff to it.
Well, but remember, they only did that so that they could sell more Amiibo figures, because those things were stagnating on.
Well, that's certainly a part of it, but there were other aspects to it. But it's very surprising,
But in the end, what I'm saying is that I think Animal Crossing during the Wii U era got such a big spotlight that I feel like they're probably just cooling it down a little bit. They probably don't want to
Yeah.
I think they're waiting until it's a good time to release it, because honestly, they never announced there was going to be an Animal Crossing game for the Switch. We know that's inevitable, but
yeah, people are just patient, people just want it. New Leaf came out in 2012, so there's a lot of people who just really want it, and they don't realize that if there is going to be a new Animal Crossing game, odds are the people involved. I mean. It's entirely possible that, Splatoon 2, by the end of this year, maybe they'll stop making new maps for it or whatever, and they'll kind of start putting a team together to work on an Animal Crossing game, because I can't see them jumping straight from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3, so maybe this will be the breather. But that's one of those things where it's all speculative, so, it's hard to really say either way.
Yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting.
Splatoon is getting an expansion, and that's out now. But they said at the Splatoon tournament that they're going to keep adding stuff to the game until at least December of this year. So that's my tentative date on that. And then, if that's all we got to say about Animal Crossing, then
I don't know why people were so hyped.
Yeah. Well, there's two others. And this one is one that I had been telling people I will really expected. And
this is one I expected too.
It's not there. We're talking about Mario Odyssey DLC. And
with like big paid DLC, not just the free outfit that they've been doing.
An expansion. Because Zelda got DLC. Before the game was even out, they were like, we're going to do this. So I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done it here. I don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe they're waiting. It's possible that it wasn't ready yet, or it wasn't in a state where they could show it. Because I would be really surprised if, we get to October and there isn't some kind of new level pack or something for that game. It just seems like such a natural fit. And they keep adding little things here and there, so it has to be leading up to something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised out of all the things that wasn't at E3, this is probably the most surprising, because it doesn't seem like, like you said, Breath of the Wild was announced before the game was even out, so I would assume that with Odyssey, they would have at least started working on it shortly after the game came out, but with Balloon World, that can't just be it, right? This game's ripe for new kingdoms.
It just makes so much sense.
Well, it's even like with fake leak videos like Delfino Plaza and stuff like that. Mario Odyssey is pretty complete. Like, it feels like a pretty complete game and stuff. Like, it would be nice.
But that doesn't mean you can't.
So was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So Breath of the Wild was when it first came out, it was sold on the idea that there would be more content. While when Mario Odyssey came out, there was no hide or hair of a season pass or anything like that.
That maybe
there's less of an expectation for it to be there than it was with Zelda, I feel.
I get what you're saying, because they wouldn't even... I mean, this is the same kind of logic that they did with the phone game, where Mario Run, they were determined to have it be a game that you buy once and that's it. And, I mean, that's like... I don't know. I mean, with this game, it's like maybe they don't want to cross a line, but I don't really think that matters. I think that, the game is a game, obviously. You've got a good amount of content to it. And I don't see why they wouldn't just consider adding more stuff, unless they are doing unless they're doing something even better, and they're making a Captain Toad 2, because that would be amazing. I would love that.
They're making Captain Toad 1.5.
That's why I think that's not happening, because they're doing the port. But I can't really imagine what else they'd be doing right now. I mean, I don't know. I would be really surprised if this game doesn't get something, because it seems so ripe. And
the only thing I could think of is that they just want to start working on Odyssey 2 immediately, and
I mean, they could do that. I mean, Galaxy 2, I was skeptical of that before that came out, but that was pretty good. So it's possible they could be just trying to do that here. I don't know.
3D Land got a sequel technically with 3D World, where it built upon the mechanics. So Odyssey 2 is inevitable at some point, but maybe it's going to be sooner than we think.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. I don't know. It's just tough with Mario. What are they? At least
we know we're getting 3 more brutal costumes.
Yeah, they haven't released all that. It's like, why take so long to put out these costumes? They're just they're just there for fun.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
Well, they're pretty much they're there. People have found through data mining. And, have you seen the one of Dead Mario? What?
Have you seen that costume? Yeah, there's a zombie Mario costume, and he has an axe or something in his head.
That was pretty cool.
I would keep your ear to the ground on that one.
That'll probably be an October thing.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
The Mario, that'll be released Christmas, which will be a year after the game came out.
Yeah. I mean, they have these seasonal costumes in, but they don't have plans to do anything more. I don't know. let's put a wait and see on that, because I still feel like it just makes so much sense for them to do.
Yeah, maybe what you said earlier, it missed the mark for being ready by E3. Maybe that really is why that happened.
And I'd like to... You mentioned something, Dan, when you were talking about the Delfino leaks. I'd like to take a minute and just say that before the conference or the Direct actually happens, Nintendo sometimes is like the worst part about E3 because people can't stop making terrible fake leaks, and then we have to like think about them or talk about them, and it's the worst. Like, I don't want to think about that stupid, Star Fox racing game or whatever. Like stop! It's so annoying. Just stop doing it. Remember the Metroid Star Fox crossover? Retro's always the one making these games too. It's so dumb. So I enough. Okay, stop it. That's just my plea.
Well, it's weird because at this point people have become so good at like making these leaks because like people.
But they don't even always have pictures.
Well, remember Rayman? Like that was one that people were convinced was real, but then obviously that was just like a fake thing for a guy to start his YouTube channel.
But I don't think there were any pictures associated with the Star Fox one. People just choose to believe it.
No, people chose to believe that one, but also I guess it was just like, reports from other websites like EGM saying, "Oh yeah, we heard stuff." So people were like, "Oh my god, it's real."
Maybe Fox being in Starlink is what people confused it with, and it led to that rumor.
But Starlink is a game that's already been announced, so to not realize that it's Starlink would mean you're just a complete idiot. Like, if someone saw that...
Maybe it was a complete idiot who started this whole thing by accident.
And then they just forgot to mention the Toys to Life element of it. Like, whatever.
Yeah. They just mentioned Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there was... I guess we have a few more here. I guess, don't worry. We'll get to the real content in a minute, but... no Pikmin.
Well, this one's quick.
I actually completely forgot about this. Right?
Yeah, it was announced 4 years ago? I don't even know.
But Miyamoto he was probably just, having an E3 bender, and he just said that. He's just,
I don't know, that was. I feel like we already got that game, and that was Pikmin.
Oh, Hey Pikmin?
On 3DS. Hey Pikmin. I think Hey Pikmin was 4. It just wasn't called 4.
Well, I disagree.
Miyamoto clarified that it wasn't afterward. That's what makes it even more confusing. He announced it 4 years ago, and then we thought it was just what Hey Pikmin was. But then he later said the Pikmin game is still in development after Hey Pikmin came out. So we're like, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't Hey Pikmin.
Miyamoto is a very unreliable source.
Yeah, I've learned that.
And so
I guess... who knows if this game even exists still at this point, but we didn't see it. I
don't hold it against them.
I wasn't expecting it, but, unlike Animal Crossing, which I think is kind of a really big deal to a lot of people, Pikmin's always kind of like a smaller niche series that would have made a nice, holiday filler. So I was kind of, hoping for it to be a nice companion to Smash and Pokemon, but oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. Well, so now that we've gotten all of the missing games out of the way, we'll talk about what we actually saw. And so we're starting off, the way that the show opened was with a game that this one really did come out of absolutely nowhere. We're talking about Demon X Machina, which is perhaps the worst edgy title ever.
The title is not the title is really weird. But I am completely down for a spiritual successor to Armored Core.
Yeah, well, that's when I started getting excited, was because I watched them play it during the Treehouse, and the guy who was there representing the game, he's a producer. He has worked on, I think, 4 of the Armored Core games or something like that, so he's been involved with the series for a while. The company, I don't think the studio doing this has done anything else. I couldn't find any information on them, but the publisher for the game is actually Marvelous, so it's kind of a smaller publisher. But that's why it was a little surprising to see this thing, and it looked pretty good. I think the only complaint I had with the game was that the cell shading was a little too extreme at times, but it did look cool. The game itself seemed pretty nice. The guy who does the Fire Emblem character design, he's doing the character design for this game, which I guess that's neat, but it's a mech game, so it doesn't really matter. But they have a guy from Armored Core and Macross doing the mech designs, so that's going to be nice.
That's nice.
It looked good. Like I was glad that we got to see it, a gameplay of it. That's what sold it for me.
Yeah, I don't usually, Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You're not into mech games.
Oh no, I was gonna say this game is 2019, right?
I don't know if it has a release date, but 2019 is my guess.
They did say 2019 though. I don't think they just said 2019 if I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they said this year.
Yeah, it looks mission based.
Started with that.
Yeah, it was interesting to start with it. I liked what I saw of it. We have like a mission based setup. I think it still has a lot of like the preparation aspects that you would find in Armored Core, but they did make a point of showing how you can kind of do things on the fly. Like if you're fighting enemies and you defeat them, you can take their weapons and use those. So it could be pretty neat. I'm hoping to see more. One thing they kind of teased towards the end was that you can actually get out of your mech and walk around on the mission area, but they didn't show what you could do. So they kind of implied there's more to this. That walking around is actually perhaps a viable option in certain scenarios. So,
wonder if it's gonna be kind of like that old Rare game, where you can hop out of your vehicle and go into other things.
I don't know. I don't know what it'll be like, but it's looking interesting. I mean, I also get Xenoblade X vibes from it, so that's neat. But I was surprised with this one. I mean, we're not gonna... I actually thought, before they showed who it was, I thought it was being made by FromSoft. I'm sorry, Monolith Soft, excuse me. FromSoft obviously did the Armored Core games. Because it had the X, So I thought, oh, is that what
yeah.
But no, it's just it's something new, and so that's neat. That was a good way to start it, just because it was a very left field thing.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's one I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on that game.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Even though it's not usually my cup of tea. Why not see where it goes?
It could be neat. And then there was speaking of X. They had Xenoblade 2. We actually got to see the DLC on the treehouse afterwards, which was really neat. Because they actually showed both of them. Because the Challenge Mode DLC, I think that's coming out tomorrow. So they played through some of that on the stream. And that was pretty cool.
I saw Shulk and Fiora.
Yeah. Some of this stuff was data mined in a patch. Like, oh, Shulk and Fiora are going to be blades. But I didn't expect them to appear immediately. Like, I thought they were just going to be rewards for, you beat it, now here's this thing. But they actually are in, cutscenes and stuff, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fan service, but it's not, bad fan service, I felt.
Well, if you're buying DLC, then, give them some fan service. Might as well.
I mean, they already have Cosmos in there, so... yeah, I was excited, I guess,
You're excited to sink many more hours into that game, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, more stuff to do. It looks neat, and
I need to get into it.
I'm more excited for the actual expansion. That looks really cool because it looks like they're really changing it up, and they played some of that too, and I was surprised by it because the gameplay is really different, in certain ways, the menus and stuff. They've definitely... It almost looks like they've approached this expansion from the ground up, because they have redone the combat. The combat is now... I mean, basically, blades and drivers are sort of still a thing, but instead of just switching blades, you actually switch who you're controlling. So, you have blades, but then you can switch and control the blade directly, and it's really interesting, I feel. So the combat is different, other aspects are different. I'm not sure how much of it is going to be new areas, because they showed Torna, which is obviously a new area, but they also showed you can go to Gormont, but this is 500 years in the past, so the city is not there. So they're definitely going to be reusing some things.
Yeah.
But
The Tornet's probably going to be the big like area you're going to explore. It's probably going to be like more in depth than like other parts of the game. Maybe like kind of like Gormont, but like way more.
It kind of looked like that. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's neat to see what they're doing. You know, I kind of predicted they would do something like this, but I didn't think that they were going to completely change the gameplay. Like, I figured, well, you know, there's all this lore in the story about stuff from 500 years ago, so I figured it would center around that. But even so, actually seeing what they're doing is really surprising. And the weirdest thing about this, in my opinion, is actually, I guess because the DLC doesn't have any connections to the main game, I don't know how this is going to work, but what I do know is it is possible to purchase the DLC physically. For $40, you can buy a game card that has the DLC on it, and it also comes with the Season Pass for Xenoblade 2. But it doesn't come with Xenoblade 2. So I don't really get why they're doing this. It kind of makes me wonder if the actual DLC is going to be a separate application on the Switch menu. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Huh.
Because it really doesn't have, like, if it doesn't use any of the same stuff, I mean, other companies have done this. It's also just weird to see that they're selling it physically, but also giving you a bonus.
They did do that in the past with a new Super Luigi U. I know it's a completely different like type of game.
Yeah, you could buy that.
That was DLC, and you could just buy that separately. I think it was $20 if you buy it as DLC online with New Super Mario Bros. U, but you can just buy it, I believe, $30 as its standalone game, physical copy in stores. So I guess they have done that before. I mean, I always thought that was weird, and then they quickly just decided to repackage New Super Mario Bros. U with Luigi U included for like $60 very, very shortly.
I mean, you can already
last that long.
Yeah, you can already buy that. Like, you can just buy the game with the expansion. Initially I got nervous.
Oh, so you can buy the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, you can already do that. So this is like a weird alternate thing. I think now this is where I kind of disagree, because they said this on the stream while they were playing it, but even though it is a prequel to Xenoblade 2, I don't really think people should play this game or this DLC without having played it, because even though it could be a complete story, a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in it is stuff that we kind of know about if you beat Xenoblade 2, so it's like, I don't know if it's the best way. I mean, I could be wrong about this because I haven't played it, but I don't know if it'll be the best way to experience that aspect of the story. But I don't know.
That is weird. I don't know who would buy that separately without, buying. Like, Xenoblade 2 just seems like the more attractive package, like, overall. I
don't know. Like, I guess it's nice that if you do buy this on its own, you are getting the Season Pass, so when you do buy the actual game, you're getting all the stuff right off the bat.
That could always be it.
But it's weird. It's a weird decision, but otherwise I think that the DLC actually looks really cool as far as the new gameplay. That's what I'm the most excited about. Because Xenoblade 2 is a good game. It's not a perfect game. And I'm excited to see what they've done to tweak things, and I almost wonder if we're getting like a sneak peek at what they might do the next time they make an RPG. Because some of the stuff seems that different.
Xenoblade 2?
Oh, no, he hasn't.
No.
You haven't? Okay.
No. I haven't. It is definitely, it's my game that I play, but don't beat for a very long time. Like, Persona 5 was that for a while. But, yeah, it's the RPG that I always have that I can always go back to.
Okay. I mean, I don't have it, so you're further than I am.
I mean, I'll get there. I got, I think I'm about to finish a chapter, but we'll see.
Alright, there you go.
As long as it's
the island's sinking, everyone's gonna die.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's where you are.
Yeah. But I can just leave, like, what?
Oh, no, I did that. That was one of those great moments in the game where they're like, we only have so much time to stop this. And I was like, this is a perfect time to take a big break and do side quests. That was good.
I mean, I don't know the lore, but if this prequel takes place in the past, will the guards, Jordanian guards, be in it, or no?
Oh, man, I'm hoping we get some new guards from the past.
New guard.
That would be nice.
We're gonna get some new guard lore.
Well, that is one thing they showed in the challenge menu, like the challenges that you can do. some of them do revolve entirely around just fighting Ardanian soldiers. So they know. They know people miss it. And, that's gonna be yeah. So that's what we got for that. I'm excited about that. Next up, a game that some people seem to think has more importance than I think it has. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I'm not a gigantic Pokemon. I've played some of them, but I'm not a huge Pokemon person. This game is not marketed for people who are huge Pokemon fans anyway. But yet I see a lot of people really frustrated by this game because they seem to think that this is like a new Pokemon game. Like, it's not a spin-off. It's obviously a spin-off.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell what Game Freak is trying to do with, spin-offs main series games, but the fact that they confirmed the main series Gen 8 is coming, like, this was clearly made, in my opinion, because, Gen 1, we basically have all the, roadmap, the assets, we have everything that we would need to do. They can really easily throw together a remake of Gen 1 and get it out in time for the holiday, and, actually work on the next generation game and put more time into that and get that ready for next year. But the other thing people overlook is that Gen 1, I know, and I complain about this too, there's those people, the Gen 1ers as they're called, who just don't really care about the newer games because, they only grew up with Gen 1. But there's a lot of those Gen 1ers that got really into Pokemon Go just based on the nostalgia factor. Like, oh, hey, I remember when I started with, Bulbasaur, or I know these guys. So this was actually a really, really smart move, I think, to get people who don't have a Switch to buy a Switch. Like, Pokemon fans probably got a Switch at this point just because they know, Pokemon's coming to the Switch eventually, the main series. But, your average Joe Schmo, DSs and 3DSs sell just because of Pokemon. So now imagine a Gen 1 remake of Pokemon that for the first time is on a console in 3D. That, I think this was genius. I understand. I mean, I don't really get why people are upset, honestly, because, they said the main games are coming.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. It's just, I think people are more disappointed in, I guess, the way the game is structured and how it plays.
But it's not, that is true, but it's also not really for them.
No,
I know. It's more for the people who actually, the kids and, the people who play Pokemon Go. It's just, it seems like a lesser...
Kids, I think. The adults, the Gen 1.
I mean,
kids will probably buy the new one anyway.
Doesn't it? Yeah. It connects with Pokemon Go to some degree, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can put Pokemon in and out from the game. It feels more of a spin-off of Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's obviously what this is. It's got Go in the title. It should be obvious, but I think that because if you squint, it looks like it's a remake of the originals. People feel like it should be an actual. They already remade those games. Don't do it again. There's no reason to.
Well, actually, this is a remake of Yellow. Excuse me. No.
Whatever.
No, I mean it's. I think this was genius that they're doing it, and I understand why they're doing it the way they are. For me, I'm actually excited for this, but I'm disappointed that the game, although I love that it takes place in Kanto, I'm sad that the game only has Gen 1 Pokemon. I know they confirmed Alolan forms, I think, but it would have been cool if we had Pokemon from all the gens but appear in Kanto, and then when you fight Brock, he would have Onix, but other rock Pokemon too, Nose.
They probably could have gotten away with that.
But I kind of get why, like I said, the Gen 1 thing, they wanted to really be a nostalgia trip, and then it's easier if they just focus on the Gen 1 Pokemon to get it out, because again, they have the roadmap and the blueprints for all that.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. I know there's a few mechanics like the catching, being more like Pokemon Go, and how you don't fight wild Pokemon in battles.
Yeah.
Don't battle wild Pokemon. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'll have to wait and see.
It's a spin-off, so
point,
there's not much to be angry about.
In Pokemon Coliseum and XD on the GameCube, those two games had different aspects and methods for catching Pokemon. I know you didn't catch wild Pokemon, or at least in Coliseum, you didn't catch wild Pokemon. Like, you had to snag them. So maybe just treat it like that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the time is right for, something kind of like XD or something like that. Like, I'd be really interested in a Pokemon game that approaches things differently. But this is not that. This is approaching things differently, but it's not approaching things differently as in, like, we want to make a spin-off of Pokemon that is still a Pokemon game. This is different, and that's fine. That's just what I think would be interesting to see from Pokemon, but I am confident a lot of people would disagree with me on that, because I've talked to many people about that idea, and they look at me like I'm insane. And I'm not going to get too much into it, but...
Yeah, I like half agree with you. I don't want them to change it too drastically, because I think, again, I'm not huge into Pokemon, even though I've played a lot of them. But I think a huge part of the appeal is that you can keep transferring your Pokemon.
Yeah.
And if they change the game too much to the point where that's no longer possible, I think that'll upset people.
I think that's kind of handcuffed them at this point, I feel.
Yeah,
so
it sucks, but they, that's what happened. That's the hole they dug, I guess.
So yeah, speaking of sucking, let's talk about Mario Party.
No,
I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding.
The first time in 10 years, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I have to agree, because I watched the footage of this on the streams, and I was like, okay, you know what? This actually looks like bearable. And I'm not like a huge Mario Party person. I've played the N64 ones, and I played 8, and I've played a little bit of the others. Like, I have played 10, so I know where the series has been.
Bowser Party.
We did do that.
The only good part of 10
we know the pain of that. But
yeah.
So, I mean, what did you think of this?
I think it's finally... Oh, sorry. I think it's finally great that they are returning to the old style. It's something everyone's been asking for, and it's good to finally give it back. It's like Mario Party is competitive once more, and it's going to cause some people to get murdered, which is great, because that's what Mario Party is.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get mad at each other. You're supposed to like have a team game with someone who's winning, and then you like screw them over by not doing as well during the team game, and then they get even madder at you because you're playing a heel. Like it allows you.
They were getting mad at each other too. Like one of the teams went from one of the guys went from 4th to 1st just because he landed on a random space, I think, and got a star, or when he got his star. And I'm like, see, this is what Mario Party is.
Yeah, the best part about Mario Party is that Mario Party lets you be the bad guy. You can you can be the villain, and it's the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah,
of course, your friends will probably be very mad at you, but then again, at the end of the day, it's Mario Party.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you go ahead.
Okay. The only one I haven't played out of the Mario Parties is Star Rush, which was the second one on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And I think there might have been some elements.
No, there were.
It borrowed.
There were, because that's the thing, is that you said like, it's the older style, and while I do agree. To me, one of the things that I thought was interesting, and you didn't really see this in the trailer, you see it more in the footage of the streams, was that...
The second stream, specifically.
Was that there are new elements to it that aren't like the car, because the car was just a really bad idea. No. It was too gimmicky. No. And so I really enjoyed seeing the... one thing that I thought was really neat was that there is actually a purpose to picking characters now. Because every character can choose to roll from a special dice that only they can roll, and those have different values on them, and I thought that was really neat, because that gives you more strategy.
There actually have been games that have done that before.
Really?
I don't remember, but I believe it was Mario Party 7. Each character had an item that was unique to them, or at least pairs.
But this isn't an item. Like, you can just do... I think you can just do this whenever you want.
Oh, no, this is new, but...
Yeah.
Like character specifics, I think 7 did that, and I don't know if any other games did that, at least for like the main mode, but I know at least one of them characters had a special item that only they could get when you're playing the board. I think it was 7.
And then there was that other map that was like Star Rush, because Star Rush had a map where you could go in any direction. It was like a chessboard almost. And they have a map that's like that, but it's also a team map. So you have to team up with one other player. And having a team element to the board itself, that is neat. I mean, the car was like everyone was on the same team, which was bad. But this is good because there's still competition.
Yeah. The older ones did do 2v2s in the main game, but it just played like the...
This is like the map appears to be... I mean, maybe the map isn't built around it, but on that map, having it be a 2v2 seemed really neat.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying with Star Rush. I think from what I heard, that one might not be as bad as the other recent Mario parties. I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't tell. So maybe it's not a big deal if they take some elements from that one. But yeah, the fact that we don't have the car from 9 and 10 is very refreshing. And like all the weird gimmicky stuff they did in like the other 3DS games, like Island Tour, like that was so horrible and unnecessary.
Yeah, I think this is the problem. The problem with Mario Party was that it got totally sabotaged by gimmicks, and this looks like a return to form. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, like just
nice.
It is quite literally the reboot everyone's been asking for, and I think even Nintendo realized, hey, we're at Mario Party 10.
No, this is 11. Yeah.
But it's not called 11, which is a good move. The better distinction.
Yeah.
You know what that means? This is Super Mario Party. That means the next game we get is going to be called Super Mario Party 2.
Yeah.
And then Super Mario Party 3. And
so does that mean for this one we're going to have to buy gloves so that our hands don't die from circling the stick?
I think they learned, but there'll probably be a game.
This has got to be a reboot.
No.
Really hard.
No, not that kind of reboot where they throw out all the good game design. No.
Yeah.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog 4? No.
Oh, sorry, dude. No, I'm happy. Have you seen the size of the roster, by the way? Like the playable roster?
You can play as Goomba and Koopa and Bowser.
Koopa has been playable
before.
Koopa
has been, but Bowser and Goomba, I was like, wow.
And Monty Mole apparently is playable.
No.
And Pom Pom, the assistant to Boom Boom, like the female version of Boom Boom from Mario 3D Land, she's playable. And there's like 20 characters.
Well, that's the thing. Normally, I'm like, we don't need so many characters, but for this, because the characters have the unique dice block, this actually makes it interesting. So that's good for them. I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Even Diddy Kong, this is actually the first time he's been playable in a Mario Party.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Diddy Kong, because he's been in some of the others, but he's never been playable.
Yeah.
Once again, Waluigi continues to thrive in all spin-offs.
Oh yeah. That's where he belongs.
It's where he belongs, except for the one spin-off that we'll get to.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So I mean, nothing else to say about Mario Party.
I'll just say quickly that this was like the cherry on top for this Direct. Like, I know Smash was the big thing that carried it, but just seeing Nintendo actually listen with the series, I thought they cared the least about was kind of exciting. So even if the game's not the best, just the fact that they are acknowledging, hey, the old games, let's do that. That's all I need.
Yeah, this is a game we will definitely be playing when it comes out.
Yes.
Because all it takes is one person to buy it, which is the best part.
Oh yeah.
Although they do want multiple people buying it because they have that whole mode.
Yeah.
That was weird. When they showed that in the trailer, I was really confused. I was like, "How is this possible?" But they demoed it live, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
That looks like a fun, little side thing.
Yeah, games that use 2 switches. I got really nervous when they were playing the banana one, because like she was moving those switches relatively fast. And I was like, don't touch it like that. You gotta be gentle.
You're right.
I'm very particular about that stuff. So I was like, what are you doing?
It's all right. We'll handle them.
But that's just me. Correctly. All right. So I guess we'll move on to another game that I think people expected to be there. So I'm glad it was. Which would be the new Fire Emblem game, Three Houses. I have to tell a story. All right, before we talk about that game itself. Oh, this will actually segue into talking about the game. When this was shown, I was like, I just kind of was curious because some of the Fire Emblem games have very strange titles in Japan, or at least they always tend to have different titles. So I was wondering, I'm like, wonder if there's a different title for this. So I checked the name and I Googled it, and I was immediately hit with like the Google results. It was like some Japanese porn star. Like
what?
The whole page was that. It wasn't just like one thing. It was like, oh, you're looking for her, and it was all these like porn or like hentai sites. And I was like, oh god, I'm not on Safe Search. What happened here? So that was a mistake.
Is that a sign of things to come?
Well, I was wondering because it was the title in Japanese is Fire Emblem Fuka Setsugetsu. And her name is, and that was all one word, but her name is Fuka Setsugetsu.
Oh, God.
And so I was like, oh. And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to try this again and just pop the Japanese characters into Google Translate instead. And that didn't really help. The name didn't really make sense. So I realized that the characters were not actually in Japanese, they were in Chinese. So in Chinese, the title of this game, it's kind of hard to translate, but I found some things. So it's sort of like refers to like having a romantic affair or like a period of romance. That's the name of the game. So I was like, that's weird. But then I realized, oh, okay, the reason it's called Three Houses is probably because it has a similar meaning where the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is the famous book about that period of Chinese history that Dynasty Warriors is based on. And so, Three Kingdoms, Three Houses. Okay, so that's the idea.
And wow, that's a good connection.
So this actually paid off. I was like, oh no, I'm making a mistake here. Because the game does not look Chinese. Like the art and everything, it looks pretty much like, the direction Fire Emblem art is going in. And it's not Asian at all, so I was like, oh, it's not a literal. I thought it was interesting, but either way,
that's cool.
The game itself, it's in 3D, so this is what the third home console Fire Emblem game that we've ever had, I believe.
Well, in America, yeah.
As far as the 3D ones, not talking. Yeah, you're not talking about the SNES games, yeah.
I'm very happy we're back to 3D. I mean, I like the 3DS ones, of course, but
I haven't played the
3D models.
Yeah, I haven't played the Ike games. I can't really vouch. Oh yeah, you have your opinions on those, but I can't really say that this looked like it played like that at all, though.
It certainly looked like a menu, like map-wise.
I mean, just because things were in 3D, maybe, but the gameplay, I'm not anticipating it to be the same gameplay. I watched the trailer a couple times. And, I mean, the big change right off the bat was that you control, actual, like, units. It's not you control one character. That character is leading a force. So it's kind of like Advance Wars in a way, where each unit represents a bunch of people. I don't know if they're going to have the same mechanics, because in Advance Wars, when your unit takes damage, usually that means that it can't deal as much damage because you're physically losing parts of that unit. So I don't think that's going to apply here. I mean, it could, but I'm hoping that isn't just a cosmetic touch, that, like, the fact that your character is leading a unit into battle is, like, properly reflected. I think it could make things interesting.
I think it will be if they're going that far to do that, because, otherwise, why do it at that point? People were fine with it.
Although that does bring me to a criticism I did have of the trailer, which was that the graphics, when you actually zoomed in and were on the battle view, like during those combat animations, I did not think the graphics were up to par. I thought they looked kind of bad. So I'm hoping that is just something that will be fixed. I mean, there was a part in the trailer where the enemy had his force and they were charging into the other unit and they were just like walking past them. Like, it didn't look like the animation was finished at all. So I think they might have been aware that it wasn't quite where it needed to be, but they could easily fix this. I mean, we'll see how it goes. They've done some really interesting stuff, like even the change from Fates to Echoes of the way the battle camera worked is pretty significant. So, I hope that they can just get it where it needs to be, because otherwise I'm probably just going to turn it off after a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you play Path of Radiance, you'll probably realize, oh, yeah, we've come a long way in terms of how the 3D stuff, like, and animations would work. But, yeah, I think it is just an early build. I'm sure they'll, smooth it out.
Yeah, that would be nice. Otherwise, I mean, I don't think I have too much to say about it.
Well, there's also the other feature.
World.
Well,
yeah, the hub world.
I'm sorry, not open world. Yeah,
I think that's just the My Castle feature, kind of.
Well, with the My Castle feature, you weren't able to move around. You were able to zoom in on the map, and
they wanted you to be able to move around, but they weren't able to get that to work. That was something they were planning, so now they're actually doing it.
I have not played Echoes yet, even though I have it.
I don't think this is going to play anything like Echoes.
Oh no, not gameplay, but wasn't there a dungeon exploration thing they added in Echoes where you did roam around?
I don't anticipate that returning. I mean, it could come back, but if it did, it would have to be better. But I think it would be better, because they would just know that what cuts the mustard on a 3DS wouldn't work here. So, yeah, I mean, they would have to improve that aspect of it, but it also might not work because the idea of exploring a dungeon, but you also have an actual army, the scale doesn't seem... The scale to me does not seem right, so I'm not really sure. There's all sorts of stuff they could do. I mean, we still don't know a lot. I mean, I don't expect...
What do you think...
Yeah?
What do you think the main character is going to be? Like, do you think it's going to be...
Well, it's funny because...
characters they showed, or do you think there's going to be an avatar, or...
Well, I think that we could still have an avatar, because I think gameplay-wise, I really like having a character that you can have a lot of flexibility with. But at the same time, I'm not sure that that's going to be the main character of the story. I mean, the trailer, most of the dialogue, if not all the dialogue, was coming from the same woman. And I believe that's Eldegard, who was in the trailer.
Edgelord?
Yeah. Not Edgelord.
Her name is so easy to see.
I think she could be the main character, but I'm not sure, obviously. I was happy that we had, English voice acting in the trailer, because that gives me hope.
They usually take forever to...
Well, they learned.
That, they did it with Echoes.
Yeah,
too.
They finally realized we should probably try to get these things out in a timely fashion. So I'm hoping that that's going to happen here.
That new song sounded beautiful.
That song went in a weird direction, where it became. I'm like, that's not a Fire Emblem song. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I like Fire Emblem quite a bit. I've only played the newer games, so I'm like the worst thing ever, according to a lot of people. But I played Fire Emblem
You played Echoes.
Yeah, but that's still a newer game. I mean, you can't say it's not.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I play Fire Emblem for a combination of things. I don't play it just for the story, and I certainly have a lot of interest in the way that the game actually plays. And, I didn't see anything
That's why I love Fates.
Yeah, I mean...
because I play for more than just the story, and Fates' story is horrible. They've gameplay was amazing, in my opinion.
Well, they've done really different things. With the 3 games that I've played, they've all done really different things gameplay-wise. And so I'm excited to see another game do something really different, like Echoes did. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But I don't anticipate... I mean, as far as the story, I don't anticipate it being that different from the other stories. I think that...
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a joke now. That everyone says that a lot of the Fire Emblem stories, when you simplify them enough, they're basically the same story. And that's why I said I don't play it just for the story.
It's not always a dragon. It is not always a dragon at the end. It's just usually a dragon.
Sometimes
like
it's a
90%
demon.
of the time.
Like
Yeah, sometimes it's a demon.
Oh, that's different.
It's a mad king.
Oh, okay.
No, okay. Sometimes it's a guy who's riding a wyvern, which technically is a dragon, but the guy himself is just an evil king.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
I guess this would be spoilers, but does Ike's game end with a dragon?
No.
Doesn't that end with like I don't know
He
because
rides a dragon.
Yeah,
The
that's
other one
like
is
that's the
does
one
he fight the
exception.
Black Knight at the end, or is that the final boss?
Uh,
I don't think so.
I think you should play Ice Game actually.
Well,
I
there's
should
two of
probably
them.
play it, but well, I'll play the
Not for
one
the
that
first
people
one.
like.
You don't have to play. Well, Radiant Dawn. I don't know. Some people like that one. I am not a fan of that one. But Path of Radiance is still my favorite.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I guess, try and track down or maybe play it on another way.
Just because he rides a dragon doesn't mean he is a dragon.
The the one thing I'm just remembering things from the trailer now. There was one thing where they were at the menu, and one of the things you could do was called a combat art. So I think that's going to be, well, I could be wrong, obviously, but I think that's going to be like the skills as they worked in Echoes, because in that game, the skills, you had to manually do them, and they usually cost health, kind of like spells did in that game. So I think that combat arts could be like skills that you have to manually trigger, and there's some kind of cost to them. I don't know if it'll work the exact same way. But I did see that, and I didn't see that much else that really, like, at one point it looked like the units could change their formation, but I'm not sure, like, that could have just been an animation of them doing that. That would be neat if you could kind of adjust yourself in some way and it has some kind of effect.
Yeah, too soon to really tell what they plan on doing with this.
There was
game.
also a cameo by a boss from Nier.
What?
The Simone was there. There was just a weird part. Do you remember the part where there was the big metal thing? In the battlefield? It looked just like a boss from Nier.
Oh, that thing. Yeah,
I was like, what's that doing there? That was kind of funny. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this goes. It could be neat. I'm hoping it comes out, on time. I hope we don't have too many delays.
I mean, they have enough time this time, so
it'll come out before Yoshi. I'm fairly confident.
Yeah. So that'll be good. It'll be good to see that one come out. I'm really curious about what they're going to do next.
Yeah, kind of sad. It's they probably just started development on it, but a lot of things this year was 2019, so but
it's probably been
one of those.
Well, Fire Emblem Fates came out in 2015 in Japan, so who knows?
Yeah, but Echoes after that.
Yeah, but Echoes probably didn't require the same amount of people to make the game. I think Echoes was probably a smaller
that new
project.
dungeon system is
No, that was already a system they were making. Like, that was supposed to be in Fates, and they didn't have time to implement it.
Yeah, the studio that makes Fire Emblem's really big, Intelligent Systems.
Yeah.
They usually work on like 3 different projects, and it's not like they're making a new Paper Mario anytime soon. So
No.
yeah, why not just make like 5 Fire Emblem games at the same time?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we'll have to wait much longer.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely on my list. I'm definitely looking forward to how this one plays.
Yeah, this is top, definitely top, or like toward the top. But actually, one quick question for you two: do you think this one's gonna lean in toward the dating sim aspects, or no? Because Echoes didn't do that.
Well,
think it's not?
no, Echoes wasn't going to do that because that'd just be like
Because the original didn't.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that here because it didn't quite. Even with Fates, like I've found some interviews where they pretty much suggest that even Japanese fans didn't really like what they did. So
yeah, really.
That's the thing. Like, and I've gotten into discussions with people about this, but like, yeah, that's an element of Fates that was changed for the West. I think that was a good change, and I think it was made not necessarily to avoid, an ESRB thing. I think they did it because they got criticism that it was weird or didn't fit the game.
I think it might have been like you like, did you have to do it every time when you wanted to like?
I don't know if you
like
could skip it. I think every time that they
if you
showed
couldn't
up,
skip it and you had to do the first thing every single time you want to do that, I would stop doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if you could skip it, but it's like if it's a character you don't like, you don't even want to do it anyway. So it's like, I thought it didn't make sense for what they were doing. It was too different and too weird, and also like, I'm not really a fan of that kind of element being, not necessarily the romance elements. I actually really like the whole idea of like creating kids and using those kids and the skill inheritance. That stuff's really cool. And it is, it's up to them if they want to bring that back, because I really like that as a gameplay system. but it is difficult to work that into the story, obviously. So I'm not.
Did not do a good job.
No. So
that was the most ham-fisted way they could.
But
do it.
yeah,
story.
So I don't know if they can do it again, but I do think that the whole idea of having supports and doing stuff with that is something they should continue to explore, because you also do get a lot of. I mean, this is another thing I don't know. I have my issues with Fire Emblem fans, but that's another great example, because I think that Fire Emblem fans take the dialogue in those supports more seriously than they do the actual story. So they certainly should continue to have that stuff. And I think we got a hint of it in the game, because that might have been, in the trailer, there might have been a support conversation going on, and it looked like you could pick what you wanted to say. It wasn't like a significant choice, but that it could be a new support, for all we know.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, supports, so I'm sure they'll come back in some form. I just wonder, I know they're not going to do this, but I would love it if they went back to the old system of support conversations, like from Path of Radiance or Sacred Stones, where you can only have 5 conversations per character.
No.
So you can only like A rank with one other character, and then you would get to the B rank with another character, but you'd never get to see the A rank unless you started a new file.
No, that's terrible. I don't want that at all.
Yes. No longer do I have to go online and read every single support just to see what happens.
That's why they made S rank, because they were like, let's have something you can lock into, you know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, S and A were like the same, but it's more just they don't limit you with supports other than the marriage.
Yeah, so that's a good question for sure. Because
honestly, if anything, if they do want to incorporate kids again, I think probably the best way to do it would be make it more natural. Instead of it being time travel or weird portal things, just make it so there's like a story point where all the characters like get 20 years older.
That's what they did in the original game where they introduced that. That's what they did in Genealogy.
Oh yeah, then I'd say maybe if they want to do that, then do that. That'd be pretty interesting to watch characters like get older.
There's been a lot of talk about whether or not Genealogy would actually get remade at all in the first place, and
I do want to play that one.
So it'd be interesting.
It never came here.
It'd be interesting to see if they try to take a cue from that, but I don't really know. It's all theoretical at this point. So yeah, I think we're good to move on here.
Excited for that one.
The next game is a game that I'm terrible at Mario Tennis. I'm really bad at it.
I'm excited.
I know you're really excited for it.
Sports. I hate sports. Like, I don't actually play sports in real life, but
you love Mario sports.
Well, even then, like Mario Strikers, I enjoy, but I was never crazy about that one, and a lot of people love that one. But I don't know, tennis was always just so much fun. Ever since the 64 game, I loved it.
I've only
it has
played
the best main character in video game history.
Main character?
Which is
Waluigi. He's the main character.
Look,
I
like a good Waluigi joke as much as the next person, but I think that people need to really calm down with the ironic Waluigi love, because it's getting a little embarrassing.
It is getting embarrassing, but goddamn, is it hard? It's hard,
but it's funny.
Yeah, but like that's the joke.
It's funny.
He's never gonna. It's not going to be funny if Nintendo decides we should put him in an actual Mario game. Like then it'll be over. So
but he's so it's like he's been in so many weird games. He's the villain of a DDR game for some reason. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mario.
Love him so
look,
much,
I think the Mario universe needs a Raditz or an Emperor Pilaf. You know.
Don't forget they for some reason they confirmed that I think he's like uncircumcised for some reason.
I don't know. I don't think that was real. I thought that was just a meme.
Was that not like a Nintendo thing? Okay.
I thought that was a meme. That was a joke.
Yeah. I don't think that was from the legit
Why are people obsessed with Mario characters' penises? Like, whenever we're talking about tennis, because that was a meme too.
Luigi.
Was Luigi's penis. Everyone was obsessed with it.
God.
Anyway.
Let's get off all
Anyway, the actual game, though. Did you guys do the...
I played a bit of it. I was terrible at it.
Yeah. Okay.
I liked it. It looked really complex and interesting, but I was terrible at it.
So the online maybe wasn't the best, but I think that could have just been my connection. So I don't want to hammer on it for the lag. but just controlling the character in the game just felt so good. Like I skipped Ultra Smash obviously because nobody got that game for the Wii U.
There's
but
no good reason
you know,
to.
yeah, but even the 3DS one, which was okay, just the way you hit the ball, it seemed like it was more streamlined. But with this game, you had such control over your shots and all the new mechanics they're adding, like the trick shots and like the jump shots and all that. Like it's so much fun and there's so much more depth now. You know, and even in the past, you know, just having the control over the ball with all your different shots was good enough. But with this, it's like, ugh. And then they didn't reveal this until I think now, like it was hinted at, but they finally revealed it. The courts do have gimmicks, depending on the court. Like we did see that, but we weren't sure if it was like story mode exclusive. But in the Treehouse demo, they were playing on a Ghost House court where there were two mirrors that were just hovering above the net, and if you hit the ball into one of them, it would appear outside of the other one to like confuse your opponent. So they would go like in a different direction basically. And they haven't done that since Power Tennis on the GameCube, where they had like gimmicks while you were playing. And I know some people don't like that, but you can turn them off, so it's fine. But I just missed that, so I'm really happy.
That's good.
Yeah, it looks like they're really going all out with this one. Especially
better because the last one.
Mode.
Yeah,
I want to be surprised with that.
That's the thing. You have a story mode now, which I mean, it's obviously a joke because it's a tennis game, but the fact that that's
Mario
there.
Super Sluggers, the baseball game on the Wii, that was an amazing story. Bowser wanted to take over the baseball island or whatever, just because he was mad, and then like King K. Rool was in that game, and he's like, you know what, Donkey Kong, I'm gonna help you, but just because it's baseball, like. We're still enemies in real life, but we can work together for baseball to stop Bowser. It's like, yeah, all right, let's do it. So I'm hyped for the story.
Yeah, I mean,
evil tennis racket. Come on.
Yeah, I did like the like evil cursed Waluigi and Wario. Like that's some Cold Steel level OC-ery right there. I loved it.
I mean, like it'll give you a reason to fight. Or not fight, but like verse those characters in tennis matches contextually.
Yeah.
Because it's like, maybe Mario would have no reason to fight Luigi in a match of tennis. I mean, I don't know why they settle, their scores with tennis in the first place, but whatever. But if it's a clone of Luigi that's evil, well, yeah, you got to kick his ass in tennis and show him up, and then he's not going to do evil stuff after that.
Yeah. Good stuff. Take Mario lore very seriously. So
I do actually. It's such a mess, and I love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and free characters, right? That was confirmed today. That I think that their new characters are going to be added to the game for free over time.
Oh yeah. They said that if you play the tournaments online and you win when they're available, you'll get the character immediately, but you'll still get the character for free like a month or two later. But you can get early access if you win the tournaments. And I think the tournaments, I haven't looked too much into that, but I'm assuming they just mean the same.
Well, is it like an online tournament?
Or is like the online tournament in the demo, I'm assuming if you just win one of those, which is just win 5 matches in a row, then you get the character. That's my guess, at least.
Okay, all right.
So Koopa and Blooper.
Yeah, some iconic characters.
Blooper. Well, he wasn't playable in Mario Tennis, but he's been playable in other games before, so good to have him back.
I like his animation when you pick him or when he's getting onto the field. There's a Lakitu with a bucket, and he comes out of the bucket. But then he's hovering anyway, so why did it matter that he was in a bucket, or in water at all?
He just needs to get wet every now and then.
I don't know.
I don't know. I love Spike. How he serves. Sorry. It's so cool, though. He regurgitates the tennis ball just like he regurgitates. It's like such a useless character, but just seeing the way he serves kind of made it, you know what, fine. I'll accept him in this game.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's coming out really soon, so.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I wouldn't really call that like a big E3 showing, but it was cool to see it in more depth considering that it's about to come out. Next game.
Little details.
This game was shown during the Direct, and I completely forgot about it. It was the last game that they showed during the Treehouse, and it's so weird. Like the background of this game is more interesting than the game itself, in my opinion. And we're talking about Killer Queen Black.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So this game, when I saw it in the Direct, I was like, what is this, an indie version of Joust? And that's... okay, and it turns out it's a lot more complicated. Like, the actual game, as they were describing how it plays, I was like, what? Okay, if I could describe it, it would be like Quidditch. Alright? Where this is like a made-up sport. Like, this is overly complicated, made-up sport. That's what it felt like. But yeah, so the background of this game is that in 2013, these guys, two guys created a real-life game that you could play, like, with your body outside. But because of the way that the game Killer Queen plays, it does involve props. So it was like a LARPing game almost. And they decided, why don't we take this game and just make it into a video game? And so they created Killer Queen. Killer Queen was an arcade game. And it was a very demanding arcade game because it is 2 teams of 5. So you have 2 cabinets, one for each team. And it's kind of a complicated game, but the idea is that each team, one team has your bees basically, and 4 of them are workers, and one of them is the queen. And the workers can pick up weapons and fight the other team, and there are 3 ways to win. There is, if you kill the enemy queen 3 times, you will win. At the bottom of the level, there is a snail, and a worker can ride the snail and if that snail basically scores a touchdown at the far end of the screen, then you win. And also, you have to be collecting these like balls and bring them back to your base. If you collect the maximum amount of them, you win. So there are 3 ways to win, and it was very complicated hearing them explain all of this.
Jesus.
It's a 2D platformer kind of game. And I was like, what is this? And apparently this has been a decent venture because they said that they've built and shipped about 100 of these machines. And this was in 2013. So this was a long time ago. And they were at GDC this year, and they ran into a guy who's in charge of indies at Nintendo, and he was like, well, someone had been approaching them before that. Another very small team said, we would like to basically make a console version of this. And they apparently had turned that down several times. Like, people had offered to do that, and they were like, no. But
oh, interesting.
But these guys proved that they could get it done. They're like, look, we can already make an online prototype where you guys can play on one team, we can play on the other. And they did that without asking them. So they proved to them that, like, don't worry, you don't even have to program this yourselves. Like, we got it. The online infrastructure. Because that's the big thing. Is like, it is a demanding game, but you can play it online as well.
Well, that's the thing. This arcade cabinet itself is like, it's already hard enough to find.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's like it was exclusive in Canada.
There's
something.
only 100 of them. They're very rare. So this was never going to be like a Dave and Buster's type of game. I think Yeah. It's not a ticket-based game at all. So yeah, that's the thing, is that it's this game, and so this Killer Queen Black is basically the port. It is coming to computer as well, but the Switch is the only console it's coming to. And it is a little different. It's a 4v4 instead of a 5v5. Not the Switch version, just this updated black version. There are like more weapons, they've made other changes, like the controls are different. Like, I think the arcade version only had a jump button, and now there's an attack button, so it's a little different. So it's like they've put work into this, but it's just really strange because it's an obscure game. Like, this is like the definition of an obscure video game. Like the Metal Wolf Chaos port, whatever. This is like really weird. Like,
I've never heard of this until now. So
no, I don't think anyone had. But they were getting this port together, and at GDC, a Nintendo guy was like, "Hey, I want this game on the Switch, and I want to show it at E3." And he just straight up told them that. And they started doing that a month and a half before the show. So, like, oh my God. And he said that's what happened. They said, 3 days after that conversation, they sent them dev kits. And then 4 hours later, they had a working build on the Switch dev kit. And then, a few weeks after that, they was pretty much ready to be shown at E3, which is what they're doing right now.
That's impressive.
So it's really weird, but it's I think the reason that this was part of the show was basically because they're like, hey, this is the indie game. But what I thought was neat was that the story behind it was interesting. Like, okay, they really were cooperating to get this somewhere where it was going to get exposure. Like, the fact that they put it at E3 is pretty big. So, even though it's a very small project, it's kind of neat. But I can't see myself playing it because it just seemed a bit too confusing. But I did like the fact... I as I was watching him play it, I was starting to understand it. But it's definitely a little intimidating. But I think it would be better playing it online if you're just part of a team online. I can see that being a little easier to figure out at first than trying to get 8 people to play it on the Switch together.
Is there online like matchmaking?
That's the whole reason they did this port. Basically, was like, we want to port the game and have online. So, yeah, you don't need 8 people to play it, which is good because that would be very demanding. And the black in the title refers to the fact that apparently they didn't explain how this is going to happen, but at any time there will always be one team playing online that is black, and in order to become the black team, you just have to beat the black team that already exists. So as you're playing the game online, you might run into a team that is black, and I don't think it necessarily means they're a good team, but one team is the black team. So I don't know if it's possible to like directly challenge the black team or if you just have to run into them. But it's just like a weird Easter egg kind of that they're putting in.
Wow.
So I don't know. That's what that is. That's what Killer Queen Black is.
That's an interesting story, at least.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool.
Because, I don't know, Switch, you know, they're Overcooked 2, they also showed that game as well. I mean, like, yeah, it's indies, it's an Unreal 4 friendly system, so it's not hard, really, to develop for it, and,
I mean,
yeah,
it's the best console for indies right now, like,
probably.
hands down.
I mean, I think if you can get a game on there, I mean, I'm sure Nintendo's probably fairly stingy about what's on there, but, like... I'm not like, you're gonna say Steam is good for indies? Because
no, they'll let anything on Steam.
Steam is just acknowledged that they don't care, which is
it's not trolling, I guess.
Yeah, like anything can get on, which means it's like, you know, it's like watching Leo the Lion. Like you're on Netflix and you're like, I could watch House of Cards, or I could watch Leo the Lion, because these two things are definitely of equal quality. Like,
hey, you loved the hell out of that. You
did.
You were so happy that I showed you that.
I did enjoy watching Leo the Lion.
Hey, if you don't know what Leo the Lion is, just look it up on
it's on Netflix. Yeah. This is a quality film.
Netflix?
Get some friends, maybe I don't know, grab alcohol or whatever, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah. This
just,
is
just think about if you're listening to this, you like Fire Emblem and all that stuff. Just think about Chrome's voice actor.
This is
Just wait.
This is
you'll see.
The second time Matt Mercer has been mentioned while discussing E3. Anyway,
I think McCree's all he does. Anyway,
no.
Are we ready for
the bit? Well, actually, I guess this would be something. I guess because Smash will probably be the end all of this.
Yeah.
This is just something I guess to bring up because it's kind of a ongoing development, and it's gaining like mainstream like news I guess.
Oh yeah,
now.
No, I'm yeah. This is actually worth. I'm glad you brought this up because I'm very curious how this is going to go. But we're talking about the Fortnite incident that is happening right now.
So what happened was during Nintendo's E3, they basically said, "Hey, here's Fortnite for the Switch, and it's available right now." So people who own like video game consoles, usually they'll own like a next gen and a Nintendo console. So a bunch of people own the PS4, and they're like, "Oh, I like Fortnite. I'll download it on my Switch so I can play it in bed or whatever." So they do that. And then people try to sign in with their Epic account so that their items and all that stuff can transfer over. But then they're given a message saying that they've essentially have been locked out because their account has been associated with Sony.
Yeah.
This was apparently an issue with like the PC version, the Xbox version, any version that's not the PS4 version.
Yeah.
This has been an issue, but it's really starting to get into head because now it's on something that's not just the Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this is happening now because I would have assumed this would happen sooner. But I think, I mean, when you put it into perspective, Fortnite is a huge game right now.
It's the biggest game in the world right now.
And the 2 million people downloaded Fortnite within, I think, less than 24 hours of it being on the Switch. If I remember, I read that statistic somewhere. Yeah, so that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who, you know, I'm sure a good portion of these people have already played the game on PS4. And yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, PS4 does not do crossplay. And I don't really think that crossplay is necessarily integral. I can kind of understand why Sony doesn't want to bother with it, but
I think it's.
But I'm starting to see
that
why it's a problem.
I feel like,
you know,
it was Microsoft was in a similar situation when they had a controversy at E3. It's to the point where no one agrees with Sony, and it's everyone's just tired of it. Like, this has been like an ongoing thing.
It's been an issue with like Rocket League and other games where you if you own it, you can't play with other people.
And even like in the news lately, or even like a while ago, there was a day with Fortnite where accidentally somebody hit a switch, and for a good 24 hours you were able to play crossplay with PS4 and Xbox.
It is literally that simple. Like,
it's that simple, and it's the fact that Sony is so against and so arrogant with their position that they don't want to do it because I don't know, because I guess competition. And remember, people are getting mad at this because they had like their old marketing things like for the players, you know,
and that's what
they were all about. And this is very anti like consumer and anti like, I don't know.
Well, it's getting very confusing because I'm pretty sure with Rocket League you could, if you know, I played Rocket League when it first came out, and I'm pretty sure that you could play with people on the computer, so PS4 and computer could play together. So it just doesn't really make sense that, you know,
I think it's on Xbox One. You can play. I think you can play.
No, Rocket. Well, oh yeah, no, Rocket League you can play Xbox and Switch and computer together.
Yeah.
PS4 can play computer, or at least it could at one point, but
it won't.
This is really annoying because the problem is, like, the problem in my opinion isn't that you can't play with people who have the PS4. It's that you can't even transfer your system data. And this is a problem because people have sunk real money into Fortnite.
Yeah.
So this concerns me. I'm not concerned about this for the sake of Fortnite. I'm concerned about this for the sake of other games. Because, like, I play Rainbow Six a lot, and I have it on the PS4. And I've wondered, hey, you know, someday maybe they'll make it so you can transfer your data across your Ubisoft account. And I'm now worried about that because
they probably won't allow it.
I would, and I would have to, you know, I'm fine with buying the game again on computer, but, you know, I have more than just the game at this point because I've gotten all of the season passes. So
has gotten to a point where all these games are on different like SKUs and like markets.
Yeah.
But you can get items. You know, like getting items in a multiplayer game is way more important now. So if I want to transfer all of my like say like cosmetics, if I want to transfer my like characters that I have, if I want to like do that on like Rainbow on like
I mean, this is the
on
equivalent.
Like a different game. I can't do that. Like when I got Street Fighter 5 and I decided I want to play it on PC because I want to mod it.
Yeah.
I couldn't move any of my purchased characters from the PS4 to the PC.
Yeah.
Even though they're cross-play.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, you know, I don't know how complicated it would be to figure this out, but this is going to become a problem. Like, I think
it's been a problem.
What we're but this Fortnite thing is showing that, like, this is now something on people's minds.
Yeah, this is the breaking point.
So they're going to notice it more often, and that's going to be the issue. And of course it's Fortnite, because that's the other thing. Every week Fortnite is adding new stuff and also taking things away, basically. So the whole idea of, like, oh, I got this exclusive thing, you know, regardless of how we feel about, you know, exclusive skins or all that crap, because I personally don't really care for it. But, you know, here we are, and it's a problem, because, if you want to play, if you know, I think there are people who probably just got it on the Switch because they want to play it on the go. They didn't want to start over, and that's the problem. And I don't know what's going to be done about it, because it was otherwise it was it sounds like it was a successful launch, because they put it up on the store, they were playing it on the stream, and they were playing with like other people from just online, and it looked like it was running fine. So this definitely has put a damper on that.
The good thing about Fortnite is that it's highly scalable. You can play Fortnite on like
a
toaster if you feel like it. It's
so you can actually cross-play with the PS4 version on like tablets.
On tablets? Possible. Oh, because Fortnite does have a phone version, but I didn't assume you could.
It does have a phone version, yeah, and apparently cross-play is possible on tablets.
Phone?
Stuff, just not like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you play it on the phone, but you can.
Doesn't make sense.
It's the fact that if you ever play it once on a PS4, your Epic account and all purchases associated with it is just locked out.
You
can't play it on
Epic
Switch
should be able to fix that. Phone. Like, I don't see why that.
Epic said that there's nothing they can do because it's in Sony's hands at this point. They've basically put them in a bind, which is ridiculous.
They should just threaten. They should just threaten to take it off the PlayStation 4.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's the biggest game in the world.
I don't know.
Right now, so.
Just do that, because I don't know. This is gonna be a problem. Like, I could just see it being a problem.
It's and right now, like it's E3 right now.
Yeah.
This is so far the biggest controversy of E3.
Which is a good thing.
Sony,
that means there wasn't really
if you're gonna
anything bad though.
It's fine,
this.
but you're in a controversy at E3.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So
all eyes are on you right now, and all eyes hate you.
Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So
Nintendo has somehow managed to cause a mortal wound on Sony's arrogance.
Yeah, it's very awkward. It's unfortunate.
I hope in the coming days, as this story develops, that they do say something. But Sony's responded. It's their same.
Sony. It was basically the pride and accomplishment like EA issue where it was a really bad non-response. So. They're gonna have to figure this out.
Even when Minecraft came out, they were like, with the PS4, we don't want to get people into other toxic communities. But then the interviewer was immediately like, but Nintendo, which is like the kiddiest console out there, is fine with it. Why should, if they're not policing it, why should you?
I never thought I'd see the day. Well, Nintendo went crossplay before Sony.
Well, we
are.
Well, to be fair, though, this is the other thing. It's really smart for Nintendo to be doing this because this automatically ensures that you have a lot of people to play with. So it's really good that they're doing that. Minecraft. All right, you can play with people who have it on other systems, so you're good to go. There will always be people playing Minecraft, so you're good.
Yeah.
Same with Fortnite. So it is really good that this is possible.
That's the thing. Like even games like fighting games could benefit greatly from crossplay across everything.
Yeah.
Because those communities are much smaller than something like Fortnite, and you need all the people you can get to play those games.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's an old, I guess, standard in an industry that needs to go away, and I think it's finally coming up to head.
Yeah, so definitely, I want to watch this one. This will be an interesting story to see if it goes anywhere, or to see, if this happens with another big game. Because, PUBG, everyone acts like PUBG is dead, but it's only a matter of time before PUBG does eventually get put on the PS4 as well. So, we'll see what happens then. Yeah,
if anything, Fortnite is probably the biggest motivator. Like I said, we'll keep an eye on the story as it develops.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're finally ready.
We're ready to cap it off with.
Cap it off. This could be a long discussion, man. I don't know, man. This is all right. So Super Smash Brothers.
To talk about.
Yeah, Sakurai is still alive. He's making a new Smash. So I don't quite know how to start talking about this. But
impressions go.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay,
sure.
People are asking this question. I think I have an opinion on it now. We talked about this last time when we did the last episode together. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that what we saw really was a new Smash game?
Yes.
I feel that
Yeah.
you can see the Smash 4 base, but I feel like they've changed enough with like the amount of characters they've put back in, the way that characters are shaded, the fact that all characters have new models.
A lot of
I
them
think
do.
yeah, they've done enough so that the game has its own unique style and look in comparison to 4, that I can say that yeah, this feels like Smash 5.
Yeah, I would agree.
Is Splatoon 2 a new game?
Yeah,
Splatoon 2 is a new game, right? Without all the 4 new Super Mario Brothers games, are those are all different, right?
those have less of an excuse.
They do, but people do consider them new games, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think this is a new game.
I can only go through so many ice lands.
But they're all laid out differently, and the power-ups are slightly different, you know. They call them new games.
Either way, I mean, you're making a valid point, though, because that's the thing, is that because there haven't been that many Smash Brothers games, I think people expect there to be a big change every time one comes out. But given that not that much time has passed between, Smash 4 drop and Bayonetta in our laps, that's not really, I don't really feel that they could have made a game that was significantly different. And I don't even think that's a bad thing. And yeah, I mean, to see people acting like this is Smash 4.5 and being like, oh, they're just trying to resell the whole game. Fighting games do that all the time. So
this is a common practice.
So like this, it wouldn't even have been like they could have gotten away with that, and they're clearly trying to put in as much as they can to avoid it looking like that. And yeah, I mean, just seeing, I mean, this game could have like 75 characters, so like you can't say that it's just rehashing old stuff. And I also want to just say that when Smash 4 came out, if you really wanted to be anal, you could definitely look at all of the things that were pretty much straight from Brawl that were still in it, as far as the way that models moved and sounded or looked or whatever.
Some characters had the same voice file.
A lot of characters did. So that's the thing.
Most did. Yeah, most.
Yeah, so like it's not like corners haven't been cut before, and to me the most important corners are the way the game actually plays. And from what I'm seeing, there have been a lot of very fine tunes and things like that. You can tell that this is a game that seems to be mostly built on feedback. And that was what was really interesting to me, was that they even when they were discussing it in the treehouse, they were being pretty technical about it, because they know that the people who are going to buy this game, first are the people who had Smash 4, and they need to convince people that there's a reason to play this game. So, in my opinion, I believe that they succeeded, because we got like 70 stages, we got almost
80, I think now.
Just from all the trailers, like there's so much.
Yeah, I watched all those.
So
there is a lot going on here, whether it's straight up new things or changes that have been made, and it's going to be really neat. And I'm definitely, I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, it could get delayed, but I don't know.
I don't even care.
Actually, you know what? No, you know what? I'm going to say this right now.
Take your time.
I'm going to say this right now. This game can't get delayed, because Nintendo needs this game to sell the online.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Like,
this is the online game that you need to buy online for this.
Online comes out in September. This game obviously isn't coming out that quickly, but it's still coming out within 2018. So they need a game to justify it. And to be fair, I mean, hey, is it kind of lame that you're going to have to pay for online? Of course, but the online is really, really cheap anyway. So that's one thing that I'm at least grateful for. And this is, I mean, this game, it's going to be really interesting to see. We're going to get that drip feed of new information. But I think if I had one complaint about this game, it would just be that I kind of was hoping to see more than 2 new characters. I mean, yeah, I know Daisy, it doesn't really count, because I don't even think you could play as Daisy in the build that they had. But that would be my criticism, was I was hoping to see maybe 1 or 2 new characters other than the 2 that we got. And I think the 2 that we got looked pretty cool, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah. They look great. I am excited to play as these new characters. Even the characters that are being re-added look really good.
Yeah, I mean that's also to me really interesting. Seeing what they've done with Zelda. Zelda, they're really trying to mix things up with those characters.
I love how Zelda looks.
Link has gotten a lot of changes too. I mean, maybe that's just because there are now going to be 3 Links, which, I mean, okay. But Link himself has gotten a lot of changes. The bombs, arrows function. He doesn't have his tether anymore. He doesn't have the Gale Boomerang anymore. So, like, people who play Link, he's going to be pretty different now.
Well, if you miss Link, you can just go to Toon Link, I guess, if you miss old Link.
But Toon Link didn't have the Gale Boomerang, so that's...
True. So I guess that moveset is just gone forever.
Maybe.
Which is fine, because honestly, the Twilight Princess moveset Link wasn't exactly my favorite version of him.
They always get updated each game, the movesets, and that's actually more proof that this is a new game. They are updating the movesets.
Well, I think that's something they didn't do last time, because that's the problem, was that you had the same 4 characters from Zelda, and they looked exactly the same. So this time they made sure to make them look different, and they play more differently, than they did. Or 5 characters, whatever. So
yeah, this game seems all about like the feedback that they got from 4.
Yeah, there's a lot of that there. There's
so many convenience features they've added. There's like things that like you don't need, but like are amazing for streams. Like,
yeah.
So like. There's a new little feature. Whenever you're on a one-on-one, a character dies, a little thing will pop up, like in between the respawn time. That's like, this person has this much stock, and this person has this much stock. That is amazing for watchability of Smash Bros.
Yeah, that was one of them I noticed, and you've got other things like that where it seems like there's a lot of little refinements made to everything. Picking the stage first, the UI. I mean, obviously, I don't think the UI we saw was final, but how you like add players and subtract players, like lots of interesting tweaks to just the menus that could be really could be a big deal going forward. As well as the stuff in the game, like changing the sudden death, and I like how it zooms in much quicker now. I think that's a good idea. I like. I think one of the things that I thought was neat was, oh god, why am I having a brain fart? There's just so much, there's so much of this game that I watched.
I can't even think of...
I watched the tournament.
It's easier to think of the bad things than the good things, because, like, everything's good.
There's not that much that I was a little suspect of. I mean, they didn't show, there weren't that many items, but the new items looked interesting. They didn't look super crazy or anything. Actually, that's a good example.
I love items.
That's a good thing to talk about, because as far as super crazy, one thing that it's very obvious is really different now are the final smashes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Dan, you told me that you thought that they're trying to see if they can make Final Smashes tournament legal, and I don't think that's going to happen. But
no, probably not.
But
it's a move towards that idea.
I mean, it's more of making them function more straight to the point, more similarly, because
they are supers now, and you're not gonna play Giga Bowser and take away like 2 stocks off someone. You are now only gonna be able to like take a single stock off a player. Like, they are now basically. If you had a controllable like smash or like
it's gone. That's all.
It's gone.
Yeah.
All controllables are gone, and what is now in are basically instant kills or controllable like movable attacks.
Yeah, I like that a lot actually. I think that they tried to do some of that last time, where some of the final smashes that were a little weird were tweaked, but here they've pretty much done for everybody, even characters who didn't necessarily need it. But it's interesting to see what they've been up to with that, and having it with everyone.
Most obvious is like Sonic is the most obvious change.
That was a big one. Well, Link is
because Super Sonic is very infamous when it comes to his one, because it was extremely overpowered in Brawl. Got a little toned down in Smash 4, but
it wasn't as bad in 4 to be fair. But Brawl that was oh gosh,
that was ridiculous in Brawl. But changing it just to be like kind of an entire like screen like clear, makes it a lot different than what it was.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid smashes that go on for too long and have the potential to kill you multiple times, which is a pretty good idea. I like Final Smashes a lot, so I'm happy to see them, being a little more thoughtful about what those abilities are. And I like that there's a fake Smash Ball, too. I love that.
Awesome. That's really fun.
That's my favorite, the fake Smash Ball. So, that's a good one.
The Launch Star. I'm actually excited for the new items. Hey.
Launch Star, that's amazing.
You see Crystal? You see Crystal was an assist trophy?
Did.
Yeah.
Yes, and Knuckles.
And Knuckles, of course.
But
finally, people can stop crying for Crystal.
There's Crystal.
You want to know I don't know if you guys saw the best assist trophy of all, but it was in, people were unlocking him, but it's the Badge Arcade Bunny.
Yeah.
The rabbit from the Badge Arcade. And
I saw that.
Comes down and it picks you up and kills you, and I'm like, oh hell yeah. I love that guy.
That was a good one. I saw that too. Yeah, I mean, it's always, that's the thing. We're seeing new stuff like that in the game. So
can you imagine if they add like Rusty from Rusty's Real Deal Baseball?
Oh my do it. He had a regular trophy in 4.
Yes,
3DS one.
He did.
But if they made him like, he throws baseball. You can throw someone at him and he'll like hit him with a baseball bat. Oh, I love Rusty, and I hope he's put it in.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
They do DLC for this game, but Rusty's actually in charge of the shop, and you can haggle with him to lower the price of the DLC, just like you could in Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
You're bringing up a good point, because that's another thing that I've been, we've talked about this a little before, is that this Smash game starts and it's already going to have a very large roster. And
everybody is here.
Everybody is here. But
even Young Link.
Even Young Link.
I'm like, I thought they were the same character.
I'm so happy Young Link's back. Young Link was one of my favorites in Melee, and I'm so happy.
But I always just thought Toon Link and Young Link were the same person.
It's not anymore.
The same.
Yeah, that wasn't just Hyrule Warriors. Sakurai, I guess, feels that way too. So, all right, I buy it.
But that's the thing, is that we're starting with a really big roster. And DLC, whether or not Sakurai wants it, it's gonna happen. Like they're gonna be making new characters, and yeah, I mean, we've seen other fighting games be able to sustain themselves for quite a while by releasing
the introduction of
that stuff.
Of the new concept known as Echo Fighters, they could totally just add more characters if they want to now. Like I have a feeling, because I don't know if he's been seen in videos at all, but I have a feeling that maybe Shadow is on his way as an Echo Fighter. Maybe.
It depends.
Because you haven't seen him as an assist trophy, right?
He has not. As far as like footage is shown, he has not been seen anywhere as an assist trophy.
But we haven't seen everything
there. It would make the most sense because it would only be like slight animation changes on Sonic's character.
I mean, I didn't. I'm still a little confused as to what is and isn't an Echo Fighter, because Young Link and Toon Link aren't Echo Fighters. Dr. Mario is not an Echo Fighter, so I'm a little confused on what Sakurai's definition is.
They did clarify that. I mean, it's not the best definition, but it's like the Echo Fighters. I think it's only Lucina and Dark Pit. All of their moves are basically exactly the same, and like all the standard like air taps and all those types of attacks. There's slight differences with like how the links do it. Like one.
I get what you're saying, because Dark Pit is only different because two or maybe even just one of his B moves is different, and Lucina is only different because she doesn't have the tipping. So they are different in very, very slight ways. So I mean, okay, if that's how we're gonna define it, then
And Daisy is I guess Daisy.
Daisy is also an Echo.
Great addition.
I mean, as far as Echoes, I don't really care about Daisy. I have a friend who's really mad. Like he keeps messaging me, being like, "Dude, I'm so mad. I'm so mad about Daisy." But yeah, if this is what the bar is for an Echo Fighter, then I understand. And I actually think Dr. Mario might have had a new move or two in the trailer that I saw of him.
That's the thing. I'm really sure Dr. Mario and Pichu aren't Echo Fighters
because they're gonna be different.
I know why.
Well, I think we'll have to play them. Though. We'll have to play them and find out.
True.
They were in Melee, so they because Smash 4. I think the only two new what we called clone characters. I guess Echo's now the official name.
Yeah.
Lucina and Dark Pit were the only two new ones they introduced,
and they were really like.
And they were really
yeah. You could tell.
So
I
maybe
mean,
Sakurai
yeah.
just wanted all the older ones before Smash 4. He didn't want to call them Echo Fighters in case, like, maybe you really liked maining Pichu. And
Well, he
Melee,
also
like,
he did say that I think he wanted both of those characters to be costumes that were different, and he decided that they would just be played slightly differently.
Oh
so,
my god.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's where we are.
True.
You know what character really makes sense as an Echo Fighter?
What?
Ken.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I would rather have actual new characters, of course. But if we're getting into this idea, Injustice 2 kind of has this with the Premier skins, where the character does play exactly the same, but they are a different character with a new model and new voice and blah blah blah. So it's totally possible that they could do something like this going forward. But either way, this game is built from the ground up to be a fighting game that delivers for a long time. And I think that it's going to be really interesting to see Smash Ultimate's life cycle, because it could be longer than we think, to be quite honest.
I think this one is most likely going to last longer than 4's lifetime, because just because of the fact that the Switch is still relatively new. The Wii U was kind of like in its middle ages when Smash 4 came out.
Yeah, and the 3DS was way past its debut when Smash 4 came out on that.
Yeah, so it makes sense that this one is going to be one that lasts a while.
Yeah,
we're probably not going to see a new Smash in maybe
I can't see Sakurai doing another one. I really can't.
7, 8 years.
This is the ultimate.
Yeah, this is the ultimate.
It'll just be Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe. It'll just be.
Super Smash Brothers Infinity.
You know what this game is called in Japan? I looked it up.
Special.
It's just Super Smash Brothers Special. All the Smash Bros. Games have really weak titles.
That name apparently has a different, that word has a bigger meaning in Japan.
Well, it's special like in English, but it's just in all capitals, like special. So like, whoa, it's so special. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to some people and they're like, it just looks like Smash 4.5. And I mean,
you can see it.
Well, I disagree, because I think in watching, I'm not talking about watching all the footage at the tournament or at the streams. Like, just watching like the 20 or so minutes of Sakurai explaining what was different and showing a lot of stuff. To me, that was enough to sell me on the idea that this is not just an expanded re-release of 4. Even if it is going to reuse a lot of stuff in one form or another, that is not indicative. I mean, other fighting games do that. Other fighting games do that all the time, where, what do you think, Marvel vs. Capcom was? It was just them reusing a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I guess this goes on to this idea, is, the character, when it comes to these characters, there's change.
Oh, yeah.
With every single character, and that's pretty much what you do when you have a new iteration of a fighting game. You change characters. And the largest one being, of course, the character I like to main, which is Ganondorf. Who has a huge difference now.
Yeah, he's up there.
All the smashes are new. He has a lot of different properties.
His specials look to be better than before, for sure. And new model, of course, as far as that. I mean, it's gonna be really neat. I mean, I'm a person, I don't really main anybody. I like to play the field, so for someone like me,
same.
It's gonna be pretty fun to go and see what's different with everyone, and to see that Cloud is exactly the same.
Oh, don't worry, everyone. Bayonetta is still the same.
That was amazing. Watching the tournament, that was disgusting. I mean, to be fair though, the guy who's fighting was playing as a Ridley.
Oh yeah,
and
he was playing Ridley.
Probably had no idea what he was doing.
For the fans. He did it for the fans, so you could see Ridley.
But that was really funny. Just it was a gross. I mean, I don't think Bayonetta is OP. We've had this discussion where Bayonetta players have to do so much work to get things done, and it's always entertaining to watch. I'll say that much. Yeah.
It was really that match was so quick, and it was so. Oh my god.
Well, my favorite part of it is actually how it started. where
Oh, the Smash Ball?
Yeah, well, before that, because Ridley had him, like, jab locked, like he was stuck in the part of the map, and Wispy was blowing the wind, so I don't think he could get out of it. And he did, like, 50 damage to him right off the bat. But then he immediately grabbed the Smash Ball and landed it, and got Ridley's damage up to where it needed to be to get insta-KO'd by it. Then I was like, okay, we're good. We're even. And that was just fun, you know, that wasn't the kind of thing you see at a tournament, but it was very funny to see. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Without the stages, are you excited about all the old stages?
Well, I would say that was another disappointment. Was we didn't? I think we only saw like 1 or 2 new stages so far. But the fact that we are going to have as many as it appears we're going to have is still massive.
Are we? I don't know if they're doing all of them, but
are
we gonna get every stage?
I don't know, man. We're gonna get a lot.
Most.
Yeah, there are some stages I don't think we'll get back, but
all I want is all we need is Pokeflows.
We don't need Pokeflows.
There's a good chance.
Oh, we need.
But it could come back. I mean, Big Blue's back. Big Blue is actually one of my favorite Smash Brothers stages. So when that was back, I was like, oh yes. And then all these stages are going to have Battlefield and Final Destination variants too, so you know that's going to be great. Just because even if you prefer, you know, a more standard Battlefield, I love that you're still going to have that variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know the? Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say before. I actually like it better if they do more old stages than new, because that would be a first for Smash. Whereas usually it's you know, mostly new stages. The characters are always, most of the characters from the older game, like 95% will come back, but the stages are always shuffled, and usually most stages from the previous games don't ever return. So, you know, I'm actually okay if this game is mostly old stages, because, like, you know, it's been 20 years since we got Saffron City.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
But even the Melee stages, like Congo Jungle and Princess Peach's Castle from Melee and Venom, like
Big Blue.
It's so long.
It's been a
Big
long.
Blue was in Brawl.
That was in Brawl.
Big Blue was in Brawl, though. I'm
Also,
talking about the ones that didn't make it to Brawl.
Yeah.
it's great. It's really great that we're getting Corneria.
Oh, was that confirmed?
That one, I have a list of all
think.
the ones that everyone have spotted.
Oh my god.
Corneria was spotted in Fox's trailer.
You know what else was
there
spotted?
It is. Right
Pac-Land. Pac-Land was spotted.
Thank God, my favorite.
Thank God that masterpiece is back.
Well, that's what makes me think that we might actually get every stage, because I'm seeing stages that like people hate, so it's great.
Here's the only counter to that, though.
Yeah.
There's some stages that are so similar to others that it might not be worth bringing them back, such as Sector Z. It's basically the same as Corneria.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that would be no reason.
Stages
and
like
then
that.
Flat Zone X is just Flat Zone 2 with the section from Flat Zone 1 stapled in, so, like, you know.
We'll probably get
maybe
that.
not every stage.
But yeah, not the other two.
You think we'll get Flat Zone 2 and Flat Zone X?
No, I think we'll just get Flat Zone X.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, yeah, and also, you know, maybe some other really simple stages. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this game, is that I feel like that's, you know, the fact that they committed to getting every fighter is huge.
What's that stage from Brawl that was like, you were on some weird 2D leaves, and when you hit them, music played?
Cannonbow, the Electroplankton stage.
Yeah, wow.
That one has not been confirmed yet. I love that stage. It's horrible. I love it.
Oh my god.
You never
You can't
know.
grab, I'm pretty sure, right? Like, you can't grab onto anything in that one?
I don't think you can grab on anything.
Well, yeah, I don't know what'll happen, but it's pretty interesting so far. So I mean, let's shift a little.
Oh, by the way, we do have, I guess, from the list, there are around like 4 new stages we can ascertain.
I've only seen 2.
I've only seen 3.
Well,
I think.
Here's the one that people. It's of course the new Battlefield makes sense. Great Plateau, more towers, and New Donk, of course.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah.
We'll make New Donk, because that's still up in the air.
No, it is.
We don't know what that is.
That looks like a new
It's
stage.
transforming stage.
There's some Odyssey stage, though, because Pauline was in the
It's
trailer.
clearly not stage, but it could be a transforming stage. You know, it could be like, you know, multiple stages.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, let's. This is the part that I always struggle with. is what do you think about new characters? Because if you had asked me this going into it, it's tough. Like, I feel like we've just got so many characters that even thinking of who could be added as a legitimate new character, not an Echo Fighter.
They revealed the two that I would have said immediately.
Yeah, but we're...
That's all I got.
I mean...
Yeah, besides
I
them,
can think of a few more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god. Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, no, I was saying, like, with this list, it's just... I don't even know at this point, because...
Or let's simplify. First-party Nintendo characters. That's actually the harder one.
Well, yeah. Well, don't say third.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Oh, of course, Rusty.
Not Dream. Like, actually, you think this is gonna happen? I
Um,
guess it could be Echo Fighter 2, I guess.
I'd say an ARMS character, maybe?
That's what I was.
Oh,
thinking.
okay. Whoa.
Yeah, Springman or Ribbon Girl.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they might be too new, but that could be a thing.
It'll make ARMS sell more, and ARMS sold okay, I think. So, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
I think it's time for another Donkey Kong character. I know it's not going to be King K. Rool, even though that's who everybody wants, but Dixie Kong is once again relevant thanks to Tropical Freeze's re-release.
That would be...
So-
Yeah, we could get another Donkey
Dixie,
Kong,
I feel,
maybe.
would be neat, but I feel like she'd just be another Echo Fighter. Maybe.
She
that's
wouldn't...
also possible.
I don't know about
but
that. I mean, she can't be an echo of Diddy, because she doesn't do any of that stuff that he does.
Oh, with the tail and the...
The
all
gun? The peanut
Well,
gun?
yeah,
The
his
jetpack?
His peanut gun.
That's-
Yeah, you are right about
That's too different. And she... Yeah, so I don't think that'll happen.
Honestly, even though, like, if people like Dixie, I think, honestly, Cranky would probably be the one that's...
Oh, yeah, Cranky would be a good fit, too.
Oh, that's possible too, actually.
Cranky would be more likely, because I feel Cranky has, I guess... I feel like they'd be able to do more with Cranky. Just because of, like, his pogo stick and all that stuff.
Yeah, he'd definitely be neat. And that'd be nice. It's tough though. I look at how many characters are already in, and yeah, I mean it's.
Well, I'm just going by series at this point. It's like, well, who can they
You
even add from
think
the
a
series?
Pokemon will appear?
There will
Like Gen
definitely
7
be one new
Pokemon.
Pokemon, but I can't really comment on who that would be.
Yeah. I'd say this is. I know this is a bias. I know.
Don't say F-Zero. No, you're
Any
not.
F-Zero
Stop
character?
it. You're not getting a new F-Zero character.
I know. But it would be nice. And
You'll-
I don't know if
You'll get an
Goro has
Echo
been
Fighter.
spotted.
You're gonna get a Bloodhawk Echo Fighter.
Bloodhawk's already a skin.
Bloodhawk.
They already showed it.
They'll change it and make him an Echo Fighter as well.
No, he's literally in a screenshot.
Too bad. You're gonna get both.
Well, no.
I don't know, can I
Dark
get-
Pit. Dark Pit. I mean, Pit had a Dark Pit skin, and Dark Pit had a Pit skin, right?
yeah,
Smash
I think so.
Yeah,
They
there
could
you
put
go.
Black Doom
Bloodhawk's
over
getting a Captain Falcon
Falcon.
skin.
Black Doom. Yeah, I mean,
He is the villain of F-Zero.
not Black Doom. That's from Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh wait, who am I
You're thinking of Black Shadow?
Bull.
Black Shadow,
Black-
and I think his card was the Black Bull.
Black
Yeah,
Bull.
Black
is-
Shadow.
Are you thinking Bald Bull from Punch Out?
No.
No. I don't know.
And
Any
speaking
like
of, hey,
it's the only series that doesn't have a second rep.
That's not true
Other
at
than
all.
Game &
No,
Watch.
it's
Other than
not.
Game & Watch
That's not
and,
true at all, Dan.
no, Dan, there's a lot of series don't have
Yes.
a second rep.
Yoshi.
I just want more.
Wario,
Okay?
Xenoblade, like all the third parties only have one rep.
Oh, okay. If we're being serious and not being wanting more F-Zero stuff because I'm crazy. Xenoblade 2.
I was thinking about that, but I think
Rex, he would work.
the problem is that the game's less than a year old. So I mean, they could make him a character,
Hey,
but
Corrin came out when the game was less
That's
than a year old in
no,
Japan.
that's
and
different.
Before it was a year old in the U.S.
That's different. The game is.
I just feel with the thing that with Pyra they could
Rex and
definitely do
Pyra
something.
together, I think, would make for a good first DLC character.
Yeah.
That much, but they could also be in the game. Rex could be in the game, so who knows?
I think they have a good shot of being in the base game. Honestly, I agree.
Yeah.
with,
Yeah, because we still have the usual September direct that will be coming.
Yeah.
So there another I guess maybe two more characters. I don't know. We're not getting as much. We're not getting like 14 like last
Well,
time.
that's how much. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, we gonna
maybe
get
two
5?
more.
We gonna get 10? Like,
I think
maybe
4 or
3.
5 regular fighters, and then like maybe 2 or 3 Echo fighters.
Okay.
That's maybe my
Yeah.
guess, and that includes what's been revealed. So, we got Inkling, Ridley, and I think 2 or 3 more that are completely new.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to make predictions, but I'm really happy with what I've seen so far. I think that
you got your boy back.
my boy.
You
Well,
Mr. Solid
oh
Snake
yeah,
is in a real game.
Snake.
Yeah, that guy.
A funny thing about that, they changed his logo. It used to be the Kojima Productions logo, and now it's just the exclamation point.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason why, but
it was the only way. Like
I'm surprised
Konami would not.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm surprised Konami even wants people to think of Snake at this point, considering everything.
I think it's just the fact people off stage, but it's probably because Sakurai is really good at this.
I guess so. I wonder how much of an undertaking it was to
the master.
To do
because they probably had to include certain characters because, of course, they had the Bomberman game on Switch, so it was probably just like leverage from like stuff like that got him in there.
Maybe
Bomberman is in Smash as well, even though he's just an assist trophy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yep, Bomberman is there as an assist. So obviously they did something, or at least Nintendo talked to them in a way.
Yeah. It's a whole thing, and they're going crazy with this one. So I mean, I really do. I look at this like this is it. This is the last one. The next Smash that comes out, it's going to be like a long time later, and I don't think Sakurai is not going to be involved. It's
already a hard act to follow Smash 4.
Yeah, so this is crazy what they're doing here,
yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Oh, actually, new characters but third party because we didn't do those.
Oh, I don't like that because you can just say anything. You really can.
But I have a good one. I have a pretty good one.
Well, I guess if we go in the context of relationships with Nintendo, we could do that.
Yeah, but you can just say, "Oh, NES game," therefore they have a good relationship, which isn't really.
Well,
okay, here's my guess. Do you want me to say mine that I think?
Yeah.
I think, and I don't even play his games that much, but I think Rayman. A bunch of reasons. One, Rayman was in Smash 4. He was a trophy.
Yeah.
And I think there were a couple other characters from Rayman that were trophies. And two, Mario just got a crossover game with the Rabbids, so they can incorporate the Rabbids.
They could. I thought about that. There might be a Ubisoft collaboration.
Ubisoft is the most likely. It makes sense because their relationship with Nintendo is really good right now.
Yeah.
So like having Rayman, any kind of Ubisoft character, like maybe not an Assassin's Creed character, but like
no,
I think it would be Rayman, or it would be some kind of Rabbid character.
Or a Rabbid.
I think it'd be some kind of little nod to that, but otherwise, yeah. I mean, it's hard to really say.
That's really all I got, honestly.
Yeah.
I just think that one because again, he's in Smash 4 as a trophy. It's almost too easy.
I mean, Square Enix probably wants more money, so they could put Noctis in there.
I mean,
shove that
Sora.
cup noodle head in there.
Well, Sora would be.
Can we get Donald and Goofy?
No, never. No.
How about
Sora? I feel like would be a little harder because of the partial Disney ownership, but
Disney doesn't own Sora.
They don't own Sora?
No, why would they?
I thought wouldn't they have partial because of same series, same like.
That's not how that works.
Okay.
I'm absolutely confident that if it came to it, Square Enix could make a Kingdom Hearts game that had no Disney characters whatsoever. I don't think any of that is legally tied up.
I mean, they could, but no one would play.
No, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I mean, I would love it, but otherwise...
I wouldn't.
I think, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Almost anytime I think of a character who could be in, it almost sounds like a joke, so...
well, just say what's your gut feeling, unless Rayman was.
I don't have one. I think Ubisoft would be my gut feeling. If we're gonna get another third party, it'll probably be that. We could get another Capcom rep, maybe.
Like I said, Ken is a pretty good fit.
Or maybe a Sega rep, but I'm not really sure what those.
You want a Yakuza character, don't you?
That would make no sense, but that would be at the same time perfect.
Well, Yakuza's never.
Yeah.
Yakuza's never been.
No, it's never. No, so it wouldn't make any sense for them to do that.
At least there's been like some weird spin-off games with Cloud in it, so it makes more sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about characters all day. So, I mean, if there's anything else you want us to talk about Smash, You got anything else? Because
the
it's
only thing I would mention, it's not really a big deal, but I do hope they do reveal it. Are kind of like hopes in terms of what I want to see.
oh yeah,
Mainly with the other modes.
yes,
Because
yeah.
we haven't seen anything other than the multiplayer mode.
You want a new
Oh,
subspace?
I want
No.
a new subspace.
No, I
Yeah,
disagree.
I want it.
I totally
want it
disagree.
So bad. But don't use OCs. Use the enemies that were in Smash Run, please. Cutscenes. I want it. I need it.
I would like Smash Run. Honestly, if Smash Run was in the
If you expanded Smash Run into a cooperative stage-based thing, I could see it working. But I think that I like the subspace mode in Brawl, but I think that in a way it would be a waste of resources to try to do something like that exactly the same way again. I think that having stages where you fight these enemies that, most of which would be from the Smash Run mode, so it wouldn't be too much new work, I like that. And you could put in some bosses, or maybe reuse some subspace bosses if you wanted, but I wouldn't say try to actually make a whole subspace thing again. I think that I wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a bad idea.
Subspace.
There's just too many characters, and it's too much work.
Yeah, it's not Brawl. We have almost twice the roster of Brawl. Like it's surreal to think that. Like that's insane.
Like the amount of work that would have to go in just for like the cutscenes to introduce all the characters into the party.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
All right, how about this? An adventure mode that's kind of like a combination of what Melee did and Subspace. So
basic adventure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
You'll fight the fighters from the Smash game, and they'll have bosses too, hopefully. But you won't have cutscenes or anything like that. So
I think that could work, but I definitely think it needs to be co-op. It has to support co-op.
All you gotta do is bring back Thick Kirby for a boss.
Thick Kirby.
Thick Kirby.
Yeah, Thick Kirby. You don't remember fighting Thick Kirby when you made it out of Samus's. When you made it out, and they gave you the opportunity to fight Thick Kirby instead of multiple Kirby's.
Donkey Kong.
Oh my
Are you
God.
gonna have to run away from all the F-Zero racers again? Like that was cool.
That was cool.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something I don't know. Like even putting in like board the platforms back in, or
the actual
break the targets.
That's too much work. I don't know about that, man. That's the problem. Is the roster's getting too big for them to be able to make stuff like that.
Good. Multiple break the target stages.
I prefer the other stuff. Like I honestly prefer like the home run and the multi-man battles.
You like Target Blast better than the break
home
the
run?
target?
Well, home run is good.
That was
Target
okay.
Blast was kind of.
I like Target Blast. It was neat.
Oh, actually, one other thing. I never messed with it in Smash 4, but I was obsessed with it in Brawl. I really do hope the stage editor is back. I feel like that's likely.
Ooh, yeah, that'll probably come back because they said
I would like the
really
stage editor back, but because I know they had the whole drawing stuff, but I'd like it back as a grid.
Well, they already. Yeah. I think that they could do both. I think it would be nice to have the grid, but since the Switch does have a touchpad, they could have a little of both. So that would be a good feature to bring back because I do like the fact that it's there.
Yeah, because pretty much we have the characters, we have the stages. What we really need is just the modes.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do with this?
Yeah.
Because you have everything that could go for this game. Like, as long as like the online netcode and everything else works fine, all that you really need is modes. Because from what we learned from Street Fighter V and Marvel Infinite, a lack of modes and things to do in your fighting game could tank it. But of course, this is Smash Bros. So
yeah, well, this game
has highly less of a chance.
But Street Fighter V and Infinite also had people criticize their initial rosters, and this roster is so goddamn big.
Yeah, this roster is so big, but
I don't know.
They need modes. That's all. Of course, we just learned what this game is, so there's you don't got to worry about that now. But I'm curious to see what they can do with this.
Yeah, I agree that it's something to think about. I'm definitely curious, but I don't know. We will find out when we find out. So yeah, I think that kind of nicely brings us to the end of things here. Nintendo.
The end of E3.
The end of E3 and Nintendo. As much as I enjoyed most of what I saw, there was not any giant thing other than Smash that could have really... Because the problem is that it didn't feel like there was anything to look forward to in like the far off. You know, that's why I would have liked to see a reminder of like Metroid or something, like, or another surprise announcement that's not anything that we talked about. Because like, hey, I can't wait for Smash, but it is going to come out by the end of the year, which is nice. But you know, I mean, with Sony, you know, I had some criticisms of Sony, but I saw those games and was like, well, those are there. I'll probably buy 2 or 3 of them. So, you know, that's some stuff. Here, there are things I'm going to buy, but I feel like a lot of them are coming out pretty soon. And also, side note, I did appreciate that a good number of things related to E3 that they showed are things coming out really soon, like DLC and other stuff. I like those. Hey, it's out now. So that was neat. But overall, that's kind of where I felt like we are.
Yeah, I like when they tease a couple things in the future, though. Like, I think, you know, Nintendo, I think the past few years, like, most of their E3s have been a little on the lower side, but last year's was amazing. And they teased,
that was pretty good last year,
Yoshi and Kirby, and they're coming out next year, or at least Yoshi was supposed to. And, you know, Metroid, look forward to that.
Yeah.
But this year it was like, everything is coming out either this year or soon next year.
The only
two knew about it already.
The only 2 things that I see as like this is something to look forward to that is like actually going to take a while to come out is Fire Emblem and Demon X Machina.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything besides those.
This is Fire Emblem.
And I like Demon X Machina, but that was not enough by itself to be like, you know, it wasn't like seeing the trailer for Splatoon for the first time and being like, whoa, what's this? So that's kind of how I look at it. It was a solid. This is like a B. I would give this a B, but
I would say B plus, just because Smash really, really was that good.
But I was hoping for a little more.
But
I mean, it was Smash, and they know they can ride on Smash for this year, which is fine.
Oh, they know it all right. I'm surprised how many people aren't upset. Like,
if you're gonna play it safe, play it safe with something like Smash. You know.
Yeah.
I guess.
And people know, like, wait, you're not gonna buy Smash for the Switch, and everybody who owns a Switch is gonna buy Smash. Are you not gonna buy it? Were you crazy?
Yeah, this will be a big one.
Yeah, this will be like.
Oh, they don't have my
probably
main.
As big
I don't
as
want it.
8.
No, they do have your main.
They got everyone.
Everybody's main is in. You can't complain.
They got everything except for wave dashing, which, if you're one of those.
Well,
people,
you can air dash though.
Yeah, you can air dash.
Which is like.
But it's not melee.
It's not a bug, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not a bug.
Yeah.
And I mean, but hey, you can still use your broken controllers, so you can get the advantage.
Well, before we go off on horrible tangents, triggering people, I think we'll close it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and hope to see you next time, whether it's a podcast or some other video. I'm hoping to I'm trying to push a couple things out for the future. So, thanks for listening, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.